Inside the starting town, some players are already being trashy and gatekeeping hard. A party straight up rejects newbies like it's a private club. Even random people pile on, roasting anyone with weak gear. The main guy, Jai-Yu, ends up standing alone in the middle of a busy plaza, surrounded by chatter and zero help. You can see it on his face. He's holding that anger in like it's about to pop. He's sick of being treated like dirt in what's supposed to be a game. And yep, it's basically an ad for a new VR fantasy game, Chrono Life. He starts shouting that the whole game is trash, loud enough for everyone to notice. He waves his sword around while cursing up a storm, going full public meltdown. Nearby players just stare and laugh, figuring he's salty because nobody will party with him. He keeps ranting about how people don't understand his weapon and how strong it is. At that moment, a girl steps up like she's been waiting for him. She's dressed in over-the-top cute magic gear, glowing like a special event skin. She gets his attention and introduces herself with a smile you just want to protect. Jai-Yu is stunned and asks who she is. She suggests teaming up to go farm together, smiling like this is the most normal thing ever. He hesitates for a second, then his mood does a full 180. Instantly, he's starry-eyed and convinced this game is the best thing ever. They head into a forest path. She acts impressed by him, and he plays it cool like he's some big shot. He brags that he got money from his parents and spent a lot on in-game purchases. She reacts like that's amazing and asks how much he spent. He proudly admits he bought a beginner warrior package, acting like it's a genius move. The smug look says he thinks he just flexed hard. He shows off the sword from the package like it's a legendary treasure. She praises it and keeps feeding his ego, and he totally buys it. But his face shifts, like something about her vibe feels off for a split second. Then the scene jumps into a romantic fantasy montage, like his brain is already writing fanfic. In his head, it goes full romance drama. Sunsets, flowers, even wedding-style pictures. He's imagining a whole life story just because she talked to him. The fantasy keeps going, like he's already thinking about having a kid together. It's so fast, it's honestly painful to watch. A small crackle sound breaks the mood as they stop deeper in the forest. She smiles and says they finally arrived, like this was the real destination. They stand in a quiet clearing, and Ji-Yu starts to question what's happening. He turns, confused, because something feels wrong. Before he can finish his thought, he gets hit hard and starts bleeding. The girl, Luna, touched his heart with her blade. Ji-Yu's health drops like a rock, and he realizes this isn't a cute farming date. She swings again and sends him flying like he's a ragdoll. He stares in shock, asking what is going on, because this is straight up betrayal. Blood drips down as he struggles to move. He looks up and sees her standing over him, calm and cold. He thinks she's after his weapon and tries to call her out. She laughs it off and says she doesn't need his trash gear, insulting him like it's fun. He freezes, not understanding why she's doing this. Then she admits the truth. She lured him out here just to kill him where nobody would see. Ji-Yu asks if the plan to farm together was a lie, and yeah, it totally was. She treats it like a joke and looks down on him crueler than what Malty did. She calls him a worthless newbie, nice and slow, just to sting. Ji-Yu clenches his chest, trying to swallow the shame and pain. She keeps insulting his real life too, saying he must be a loser outside the game. Then she tells him to go beg his parents for more money so he can buy better gear. The words hit harder than the attacks, and you can see the rage building. His mouth tightens, and that silence is the scariest part. He forces himself up onto one knee, still bleeding, still shaking. He tells her to cut it out because she crossed a line. His eyes go dark and heated, and he warns her not to talk about his parents. She attacks again, and the hit is brutal, tearing him up even more. She glares and repeats the newbie insult like it's her catchphrase. Blood sprays as he gets wrecked again, and he hits the ground hard. His arm gear even flies off, showing how badly he's losing. The system pops up with a big quest completion message for her. She casually walks away, like she just finished chores and earned a reward. Her body starts to glow and shift, like a transformation scene. The cute look dissolves, and something way more serious forms underneath. The light keeps pouring down, and feathers swirl everywhere. Suddenly, she's got huge wings, like the game just revealed her true form. The transformation locks in, and the system declares her advancement complete. She becomes a hidden class, the goddess of life. She smirks, proud of herself, like she played the whole world. Up close, she looks calm, pretty, and absolutely terrifying. She raises her staff high like she's stretching after a workout. Even after all that power-up glow, she still acts like this was easy. Then she steps on his body like he's a mat, just to be extra rude. She says she has one last quest left, and it's obvious what that means for him. Ji-Yu lies there, barely awake, blood pooling under him. His eyes slowly shut, like his body is giving up. He fades out completely. The system confirms it. His character is dead. Back in town, pigeons fly across the bright sky like nothing happened. The camera cuts to a quiet alley. A message says he lost experience but gets revived in a safe area. Blue light drops him back into the alley like a sad delivery package. The system confirms the revival, and his face is blank with shock. In his head, the insults replay like a loop he can't shut off. GU stares ahead, jaw tight, remembering that brutal rejection and trash talk. Even that first rude player flipping him off feels like it's still happening. More memories stack on top, like everyone in the game took turns stepping on him. He stands alone in the alley, crushed by the whole thing. Then he snaps and screams like a crybaby. He starts digging through his broken stuff, desperate for anything he can use. He pulls out a reinforcement hammer and learns what it does. His eyes land on the sword he used to flex, like maybe he can fix his pride too. He swings the hammer down with all his anger, like it's payback on the game itself. The impact is huge, like he's trying to break the ground. You can hear the panic in his breathing as the result pops up. The reinforcement fails and the sword straight up shatters into pieces. He goes dead silent for a second, like his soul left his body. The only thing left is his glove, still intact, like a sad consolation prize. He tries reinforcing the glove next, smashing it like a man possessed. It fails too, and the glove breaks apart, wiping out his last decent item. Now the alley is filled with clanging echoes and broken gear all over the floor. It's like a graveyard for his wallet. A slow smirk creeps onto his face, the kind that means he's losing it. Then we see him sitting there, basically half naked, surrounded by shattered items, holding the hammer like it betrayed him. Tears start streaming down his face, but he's still staring at the mess like he wants to fight it. Something falls nearby and makes him look up. It's a wooden stick, the most basic beginner weapon possible. He looks at it like the game is joking, and honestly, it is. A goofy newbie character waves at him like a cheerful NPC, and it feels like pure humiliation. The guy wonders why this cartoon-looking kid is even here. Turns out he's the one who gave him the stick. The newbie hops around, acting friendly, while the guy just side-eyes him. Then the guy pauses, realizing the stick might be getting offered to him. He looks at the stick on the ground, still not believing it. The newbie gives a confident thumbs up, like telling him not to worry. The guy thinks about how bad this looks, sitting in his underwear with a pile of broken items. He's so embarrassed he can't even respond properly. He glances again at the stick, then finally tries something. He taps the hammer down on the stick, like he's got nothing to lose. It works. The stick gets reinforced, and the game acts like this is a big win, which is honestly hilarious. He does it again, and it succeeds again. His face changes from sadness to focus, like he just found a glitch in real life. He starts hammering non-stop, the sound echoing through the alley like a workshop from hell. Messages stack up showing success after success, like the stick is becoming something it shouldn't. He stares at the result, confused because the stick's power jumps in a ridiculous way. He tells himself it should break soon, because that's how this usually goes. But he keeps going, and the clanging continues until sunset paints the whole town orange. The sky looks peaceful, while he's basically committing a crime against game balance. His hand shakes as he grips the hammer, but he doesn't stop. Sweat drips down as the obsession kicks in full power. He swallows hard, knowing one slip could ruin it. Then he smashes down again, louder and harder, like he's challenging fate. A huge golden message appears, congratulating him like he did something legendary. The system says he reached the max reinforcement, and the wooden stick is now a totally absurd plus 99 monster. He lifts the glowing stick and can't believe it's real. His face goes blank with shock, like his brain can't process how stupid this is. He kneels there, holding the stick like a sacred relic. Then his fingers slide a little, and he suddenly panics, like he's about to drop a nuke. The stick spins out of control for a moment, and he flails like a clown trying to catch a falling phone. He grabs it tight at the last second, squeezing like his life depends on it. The tip taps the ground, and the ground explodes, like full-on disaster movie explosion that sends debris flying everywhere. The blast keeps ripping forward, shredding the street like paper. He just stares, horrified, because he did that by accident. The shockwave shoots across the world like a laser, tearing the land in a straight line. Back in the alley, the air rushes around him as the damage keeps traveling. He screams, realizing he might have just caused a global event. People nearby start yelling and freaking out, thinking some dragon attack or surprise event just hit the town. The panic spreads as everyone looks for answers and nobody has any. GU is still sitting there in his underwear, holding the weapon like it's cursed. Someone points out what happened, and the scale finally hits everyone. The whole continent has been cracked in half, like the map just got sliced open. The view makes it clear this is not a small accident, it's world-level destruction. Then a message claims a new world record was set in VR games. Another system alert hits, his attack killed another player and his reputation drops. Then the penalties stack up like spam, drowning him in warnings. The notifications keep piling on until it feels like the game is screaming at him. Through the noise, he starts to laugh, that low kind of laugh that means he's done being normal. The memory of that fake cute girl flashes again, still smiling while ruining him. Her grin turns monstrous in his mind, and it fuels something dark. Images of his beatdown and all the insults replay like a highlight reel of hate. Even the rude guy flipping him off comes back, like the whole world lined up to disrespect him. He remembers the party rejection and the gear shaming too, every little moment that pushed him into this corner. It's all the same story, people treating him like he's nothing. Now he sits in the ruined alley with the sun behind him, holding the +99 stick like it's the end of a training arc. He tightens his grip, and you can tell he's not going to stay a punching bag anymore. He finally looks up with a calm, sharp smile, like he just found his real path. This is the face of someone who's about to bonk the whole server with regret after bullying a newbie. GU stands in a white glare, like he just stepped out of a dream. In real life, he's actually a nobody. Not good in sports, school, and just works in a convenience store. If his life is a game, he'd be about Bronze 5. In the midst of his thoughts, we cut to a bright fantasy town under a huge sun, all clean roofs and church towers. Bare feet hit the stone road and, yeah, that is a bad sign. Jai Yu walks through the town gate in a ragged cloak, half-dressed, like he spawned in with nothing but shame. Close up on his blank face, and then a big muscle dude slams into him on purpose. The crowd watches like it is free entertainment. The baldy freaks out and demands to know who this skinny guy is. He grabs the cloak like he owns the street. The bully lifts him by the collar and talks trash while his girlfriend giggles like this is cute. The guy's eyes say it all. This place runs on different rules. Jai Yu answers back with zero fear and straight disrespect. The bully's eye twitches and you can practically hear his pride cracking. GU suddenly smacks the bully with a plain wooden stick. The bully freezes, confused that anyone would dare do that. The bully explodes in rage, still trying to process what just happened. He is about to swing back like he is ending this kid's whole career when GU's stick bonk him. A blinding blast erupts like someone dropped a holy nuke in the middle of town. The whole street disappears in gold light. When the light fades, thick fog rolls in and people stumble around panicking. Out of the mist, GU walks forward holding that same dumb stick like it is Excalibur. The stick glints and GU smirks like he finally remembers what kind of story this is. He acts like he is the main character, and honestly, the world starts agreeing with him. That main character syndrome hits hard, and his eyes sharpen with confidence. He looks like someone who has seen the ending and decided to speedrun it. A warning window pops up saying his weapon is badly damaged and it is about to break. Then we get the weapon info, a ridiculous, overpowered wooden stick with awful durability and no repairs. He makes the kind of face you make when your plan dies in your hands. The sunny town suddenly feels way less friendly. He slumps into an alley, sitting on the stone like life is over. He stares at his hands, totally done, like he just realized he is broke in every way. The stick's details pop up again, almost mocking him with the beginner label. He sits there in silence, the stick on the ground like a joke with a timer. He throws himself down dramatically, full body flop. From above, he looks tiny and helpless in that narrow alley, since he realizes that his broken weapon is not infinitely durable. Jai Yu stares at the sky with dead eyes and admits he is completely screwed. Even the sunlight feels like it is laughing at him. We get his bitter flashback thoughts. He came here wanting revenge on people who rejected him and even a certain girl. Man, he really thought they'll get married in one episode. His eyes narrow and his jaw tightens like he is swallowing rage. The revenge is still there, even if the situation is trash. GU stands up with the stick again, cloak flaring like he is forcing the hype back. He decides he knows what to do, even if it sounds insane. He now has a plan. GU's face turns serious, and the scene hard cuts to a nightmare place under a crescent moon. The ground is packed with skulls, and the air looks cold enough to cut you. His bare foot crunches down on skulls, and that sound is nasty. Then we pull back and see him walking across a sea of bones like it is just another road. He keeps walking, head down, muttering to himself like he's doing math. His voice is calm, but the setting screams danger. The fog shifts and something massive moves in the distance. The guy stops, finally noticing the pressure in the air. He turns, and the whole skull field shakes like a storm is waking up. A huge burst of mist rises, and the sky feels heavier. Two violet eyes flash open in the darkness, and it is pure boss energy. A twin-headed dragon drops in, looming over him. The monster's presence fills the whole ravine, and it circles like it owns the map. GU stays planted, which is either bravery or stupidity, maybe both. The dragon calls him a mere mortal for daring to show up. Then we get the full reveal. The monster is the twin-headed dragon boss, Urus, towering like a living disaster. The dragon keeps talking big, ready to crush him with despair. It leans in close, teeth and purple lightning everywhere. Suddenly, a golden smack lands right on one of its heads. One head looks wrecked, and the dragon's confidence takes a direct hit. The second head blinks in confusion, like it cannot believe pain is real. GU swings the wooden stick again, and the shockwave swirls the fog in clean circles. He coolly counts his remaining hits and admits he only has a few strikes left. The dragon is huge, but GU's vibe is still confident. A durability alert drops again, now even lower. He raises the stick overhead, ready to spend what little he has left. He thinks he might as well use the last swings on the strongest boss around. But the moment he commits, he flinches, like reality finally taps his shoulder. The dragon panics and begs for a pause, sweating like it just realized it might lose. GU yells back, totally confused why the boss is suddenly bargaining. The dragon tries to talk him down. The camera zooms on its teeth as it gulps, nervous as heck. Urus asks who this guy even is and why he is so strong. GU basically shrugs and tells it to stop asking questions and just accept the beatdown. Even while the dragon begs, the guy swings anyway, because of course he does. A huge golden blast slams into Urus, tearing up the skull ground like an explosion. The whole ravine rumbles like the world is about to split. One dragon head groans like it is sick to its stomach, and honestly, same. GU gives a smug little laugh, like he enjoys the disrespect. Another durability warning hits. The stick is down to its last bit. He sighs and complains that everything had to end like this, blaming the stupid durability system. The dragon listens, sweating, like it just found the weirdest weakness ever. Urus repeats the word durability like it is learning a new curse. Then it suddenly claims it can help fix the problem, which is wild coming from the final boss. Jai-Yu looks suspicious but interested because he is desperate. A contract request window appears, saying the dragon wants to give up its soul to him. He stares at the message, not sure if he is being scammed. Urus starts explaining something called the ego sword, like it is pitching a business deal. GU asks what an ego sword is, still half doubting. A tiny creature pops in like a messenger, saying the story is complicated, and GU demands the short version. The explanation gets simple. Urus can become his weapon by transferring only its soul. The idea is that the weapon becomes alive and evolves into something called an ego sword. The guy's eyes go wide because this is a crazy power-up. Urus adds that ego swords are top-rank weapons, and GU's grin turns sharp and greedy. Jai-Yu bursts out laughing like a villain who just got handed a cheat code. Urus looks nervous, still sweating, like it regrets opening its mouth. Urus tries to sell the offer as a great deal, basically begging to survive. GU calmly says the story just took a huge turn, and he is back on the revenge train. His eye goes wild with that unhinged focus, like the mask is off now. While GU is laughing, Urus trembles and admits it misses its mum, which is so sad it loops back to funny. Urus trembles as he watches the human. GU agrees to make the contract happen and hits accept without hesitation. A giant magic circle flares up, bathing him in purple light. Urus's huge form looms over the glowing circle like a sacrifice scene. Then its body starts to dissolve, wings and flesh breaking into light like it is being deleted. A system message confirms Urus gave up its physical form. Another message says its soul has entered the guy's weapon, and purple energy pours into the stick. The wooden stick transforms, shining with violet power and a new rank label. Then the best part hits. Its durability becomes infinite, and Jai-Yu smiles like he just won the lottery. GU flashes a big smile. The ground shakes again, like the world senses a new problem was born. The Skull Sea spreads out in a massive view, making GU look like the center of a storm. The fog swirls into shapes around him, like something is gathering. Dark purple energy screams one word over and over: revenge. That revenge chant keeps echoing until it feels like it is inside his head. He stands there facing the purple haze, and you can tell this power has a price. A whole army of twisted creatures forms behind him, called Urus's Legion, and it looks like a nightmare fandom for violence. Then a beam of light shoots up into the sky, like his new power just pinged the whole world. Ji-Yu grins and confirms they are going for revenge, no question. In Ji-Yu's mind, the image of a smiling girl flashes, like the target of his anger is clear. His wooden stick rises unlike the shield hero, and he swears he'll make Luna pay. In the next moment, a huge explosion occurs. Back in the bright town, everything looks normal for half a second. Then people gather at a wanted board, staring at a poster that looks way too familiar. Adventurers whisper in shock, realizing something huge is happening. A guard announces an insane bounty has been placed across the nation. The guard explains this player has killed an absurd number of people in a single day and must be caught. Wanted posters spread everywhere, plastered across walls like a pandemic of fear. The reward gets announced: 10 billion gold, which makes everyone's brain short-circuit. People start doing real-world money math and instantly get greedy. Armored boots march in, and the street fills with organized force. A whole line of knights shows up with banners, turning the town square into a battlefield setup. Civilians notice the crest and realize these are Royal Guard knights. The mood flips from gossip to panic in seconds. Everyone points toward the leader arriving with a calm, holy vibe. Looking at her back, the woman is undeniably the leader of a top squad. It's Saintly, the leader of the Sacred Guild, looking gentle but clearly dangerous. Next comes an elite squad in red cloaks with white crosses, moving like a special unit. Their leader is Suho, smiling like he is already planning how to win. Then a dark mage group marches in with staffs and pointy hats, and the air feels colder. Their leader steps forward, Abracadabra, the royal family's strongest mage, and she looks like trouble. A hooded leader of the Righteous Bandits Guild appears too, Hong, smiling like a shady uncle who knows everything. A knight captain signals, and the official operation starts. Boots stomp and spears set into the ground as banners wave overhead. The whole place feels like it is gearing up for a giant manhunt. And with all the knights gathering around, making way for their leader, it really is. A powerful man walks between rows of knights like he owns the kingdom. He is Hawkeye, ruler of Castle Arden and leader of the Justice Guild, looking stone-cold serious. The crowd gulps as they realize all the strongest guilds are gathered in one place. The scale is insane, like every top team in the world just queued for the same raid. We get a clear rundown of the 5 big guild flags flying together. The full combined forces stand together under a sea of banners, and it looks like a whole continent is about to chase one guy. Hawkeye declares orders as the leader of the World Guild Alliance, basically calling everyone to unite. A massive army of knights and guild forces gathers across the field, ready to move as one. The order is simple: capture the killer, and they are basically declaring war. The wanted poster fills the screen, showing the hooded face and that insane bounty number. Then we cut to the cavalry, armored and ready, like the hunt is starting now. He starts to smirk, the kind of smile that says he already knows he got something unfair. Then he just laughs out loud in the middle of the street, totally unbothered and acting like the main character in his own head. A tiny creature suddenly rushes in his face, and the guy's confidence wobbles for a second. Now the stick has a little dragon face popping out, and Ji-Yu panics because his weapon is literally alive. The small dragon calmly introduces itself as Urus, while Ji-Yu is still stuck. Ji-Yu tries to process what he's seeing, eyes wide like his brain just blue-screened. The cute little dragon flexes its real identity with as the giant purple dragon, the final boss Ji-Yu defeated. The fear aura hangs there a moment longer, just to make sure the guy understands who he's dealing with. Urus explains it's basically the spirit inside the weapon, hopping out like a mascot that comes with a curse. Ji-Yu pokes the little dragon, and it freaks out, while it explains only he can see and hear it. He acts like he's got it figured out fast, then immediately asks the worst question about the dragon's missing second head. The dragon pauses confused, like it forgot its own lore. It tries to imagine where the other head should be, and the awkward silence says everything. Urus admits it has no clue either, which is not comforting at all. A piece of paper suddenly flutters down between them, like the world itself is handing out bad news. Ji-yu crouches and picks it up, already suspicious. It's a wanted poster with his face and a stupidly huge bounty, basically turning him into public enemy number one. His expression twists into pure disbelief as he reads it, like he's wondering what kind of glitch made this happen. More posters rain from the sky, plastering the whole town with his wanted face like a messy parade. Instead of hiding, he poses with the stick on his shoulder, half proud and half insane, like he's enjoying the attention. Across town, people start noticing the posters, and the mood shifts fast. The posters are everywhere now, in your face on walls and windows, impossible to ignore. Urus screams in panic, finally realizing what this bounty will attract. In the middle of a busy street, Urus rambles about how Ji-yu killed a massive number of people in one swing, while the guy casually eats meat like it's a snack break. Urus keeps hyping this bounty amount, acting like it just won the lottery, while the guy stays weirdly quiet. Ji-yu points out the dragon talks about real-world money like it shouldn't, and he looks more annoyed than impressed. Urus shrugs it off, saying it's already dead anyway, and Ji-yu just keeps eating like none of this matters. Then Urus gets serious, warning that a reward this big will pull the whole player base straight. Urus even suggests wiping out humanity, but Ji-yu keeps chewing with a calm, lazy face, like he's bored by evil ideas. While he munches, something explodes in the distance, and it's the kind of sound that means trouble just arrived. Ji-yu keeps walking through the square, stepping over wanted posters on the ground like they're trash flyers. He glances down at the posters again, acting like he's deciding whether to be a villain or a celebrity. He jokes to himself that being wanted kind of feels nice, like he suddenly became famous overnight. He decides to act like a weak nobody on purpose, planning a secret, overpowered persona to mess with people. Urus doesn't get the idea at all and just asks what that even means. Ji-yu explains it's the classic overpowered but pretends to be weak style, and he looks way too pleased with himself. Urus asks why anyone would hide power, still thinking like a monster, not like a human dealing with humans. Ji-yu tells Urus it has a lot to learn, and he treats this like a fun lesson instead of a life or death problem. He rambles about otherworld stories where the weak-looking hero is secretly broken strong, basically pitching his new plan like it's cool. Then an arrow slams into him out of nowhere, and he goes flying. Urus's face freezes in pure shock, like it can't believe anyone actually landed a hit. The arrow buried deep, blood spreading, and suddenly the whole joke stops being funny. Ji-yu coughs up blood, eyes wide, finally forced to react like a real person getting stabbed. He crashes hard onto the stone ground, and the impact echoes like the start of an execution. Urus hovers above him, panicking, while the arrow sticks up like a flag planted in his back. Up high, a glowing bundle of special arrows comes into view, showing the attack wasn't random at all. A fancy blue bow appears next, dripping with magic and confidence. On a rooftop stands Hawkeye, the big-shot commander of the Top Guild Alliance, looking down like a judge handing out a sentence. Hawkeye holds his bow steady, calm and sure, like he already decided the outcome. Boots start pounding across the ground as soldiers rush in from all sides. More armored feet swarm closer, the sound building like a storm closing in. Ji-yu's face is half hidden on the ground as the crowd surrounds him, and it's clear they think he's finished. A wide shot shows the entire city crawling with archers on rooftops and troops below, and Ji-yu lies in the middle like bait. He declares the guy a murderer and demands he be arrested and locked up, making sure everyone hears it. And in fact, they did. The adventurers swarm around Ji-yu. They scream in unison as they listen to their leader's order. Meanwhile, Urus begs Ji-yu to get up, terrified that this crowd will tear him apart. From between armored legs, Urus realizes humans aren't scary alone, but together they're a crushing. Ji-yu coughs again, blood spilling, but he starts forcing himself up anyway. He pushes to one knee, shaking off pain like he's tired of playing dead. He stands, stumbling at first, while spears and bows aim at him like a wall of steel. The troops shout in disbelief that the target is standing, like they just saw a horror movie villain rise again. Hawkeye snaps, ordering them not to give him a second to breathe, going full panic mode. The soldiers charge in a huge circle, closing the gap like they're trying to crush him with numbers. Ji-yu stands still with the arrow still in him, face shadowed, and the dragon hovers nearby like it's about to faint. He clenches his teeth, then decides to take back what he said about living quietly. He grabs the arrow and yanks it out in one clean motion, blood splashing like he just ripped away the last excuse to hold back. He tosses the bloody arrow aside like trash, while enemies crowd behind him, thinking they still have the advantage. His hand tightens around the wooden stick, and you can tell the fun part is about to start. From behind him, the entire army surges forward, and he admits he wanted a quiet life. but that plan is dead now. He grins with crazy eyes and basically blames the crowd for what's coming next. Somewhere far away, a massive golden blast lights up the horizon, like the world itself is reacting to his power. When the dust clears, bodies are scattered everywhere, like an entire force just got erased in seconds. Hawkeye lies on the ground coughing, bruised and stunned, his bow shattered nearby like his pride broke with it. He looks up with sweat pouring down, trying to understand how he got wrecked this badly. A distant view shows the battlefield turned into a graveyard, the scale so huge it doesn't even feel real. Hawkeye's face goes pale with fear, the kind that hits when you realize you picked the wrong fight. He realizes the capital is basically gone, like the center of the kingdom just vanished off the map. Ji-Yu tomps near Hawkeye, and Hawkeye flinches hard, like the sound alone could kill him. Hawkeye's eyes shake, panic and anger mixing, because he cannot accept this is happening. Ji-Yu stands tall among the dead, stick on his shoulder, looking more annoyed than proud. Hawkeye struggles up on one knee, clutching himself, trying not to collapse from fear and pain. Hawkeye pulls out a glowing blue orb that can summon allies, basically a one-time emergency button. He crushes the orb in his fist, committing to calling everyone, no matter what it costs. Magic circles flare to life and beams shoot upward, turning the battlefield into a teleport runway. More summoning circles bloom everywhere, multiplying like a virus across the ground. Hawkeye screams that all guild members should answer his call, going all in on numbers. The spell escalates into mass teleport, and the air fills with blue light like a portal storm. Armored troops begin appearing in waves, stepping out of light columns like an invading army spawning in. The teleport keeps booming, and the numbers grow until the horizon is basically helmets and capes. A massive circle forms around the guy, with holy-looking soldiers in front and different squads packed behind them. A far view shows the full scale of the World Guild Alliance, a sea of bodies surrounding one lone guy. The scene even labels the total summoned, like the world is proud of this giant mistake. The count hits around 3 million, and that number is so dumb it feels like a boss raid setup. Hawkeye points forward like a commander who thinks he just regained control of the story. He yells for everyone to move, trying to drown fear with loud orders. His hand signals the attack, like the final push of a desperate gamble. The army charges in from all sides, weapons raised, filling the screen with motion and menace. Ji-Yu exhales slowly, like he's bored and warming up his shoulders. He lifts the wooden stick high, preparing a swing that looks way too casual for what it's about to. A blazing arc of golden destruction slices through the army, carving a clean path like the world got split open. People get launched and burned in the shockwave, bodies tumbling through light like broken toys. Urus hovers in stunned silence, watching the carnage like it can't blink anymore. Ji-Yu follows through with another swing, calm and steady, like he's chopping wood instead of armies. His face stays cold and focused, eyes locked forward, no guilt, no hesitation. That golden wave keeps ripping through the endless ranks, turning the battlefield into a glowing disaster line. Urus starts sweating buckets, finally realizing the guy is way beyond anything it imagined. It flashes back to its own warning about humans in groups. And now that warning feels painfully true. The dragon's terrified face fills the frame, like it wants to apologize for doubting him. A dark inner monologue shows Urus admitting that even at its strongest, it couldn't beat armies like this, so running away would be logical. The thought lingers, showing just how hopeless this fight should be for anyone else, even against its fight with Ji-Yu. Urus knows that the human is very powerful. Urus looks shaken and trapped because it's stuck with the guy who refuses the logical option. A squad of holy spear fighters rushes in, weapons shining, trying to land a clean hit. Suho charges at the front with a fancy sword and a killer grin, acting like he's about to score the biggest win of his life. Suho and his squad leap through the air toward Ji-Yu, confident and flashy, like they're heroes in their own trailer. From above, Ji-Yu looks tiny in the center, but the way he stands makes it feel like the whole army is the one being hunted. He smirks and shifts his grip, like he's excited someone finally came close enough to notice. A burst of golden impact erupts again, launching silhouettes and weapons into the sky like confetti at the worst party ever. The destruction line keeps tearing across the ranks, turning the massive crowd into an empty gap. Abracadabra appears, chanting with a glowing staff, looking calm but clearly pressured as she starts a high-level spell. A blue beam rains down, and her squad forms a magic circle around her, setting up a serious counterattack. Ji-Yu's eyes narrow as he notices the spell building, like he finally found something interesting. A huge glowing magic crest spreads in the sky, packed with symbols, like a giant seal about to drop judgment. The guy and the dragon watch it overhead, standing in the open like they're daring it to land. Abracadabra shouts the spell name and calls for disintegration, pouring everything into one clean kill shot. The crest flashes brighter, charging up like it's about to erase him from existence. A massive pillar of blue-white energy drops down, a straight beam that looks like it could pierce the sky itself. The beam keeps pouring down, steady and huge, like the mage is trying to hold him in place with pure force. He jokes that he should name his own moves too, then casually swings his stick like he's swatting a fly. He raises the stick high again, the motion slow and confident, like the outcome is already decided. Another golden beam shoots upward, colliding with the magic from above like two worlds crashing together. The giant crest starts to wobble and distort, like the spell is losing control. Cracks spread across the crest, the symbol shattering like glass under pressure. The crest breaks apart in a violent burst, pieces flying everywhere, and the sound screams total failure. Abracadabra screams in shock that her magic crest got cracked. Realizing her strongest spell just got bullied, she orders the royal mages to prepare the next invocation, trying to keep everyone from breaking down. From her side view, she watches Jiyu start another swing, and fear finally hits her face. Jiyu brings the stick down with a named swing, like he's turning his joke into a real technique. A massive golden explosion blooms again over the mountains, like the sky itself is getting punched. Abracadabra and her mages get blown away mid-cast, bodies tossed and robes ripped like the battlefield rejects them. The story zooms out and admits this wasn't just a loss, it was a full massacre. The ground is covered with fallen fighters and broken weapons, proof that the Alliance got wiped like a bad plan. Hawkeye kneels alone among the dead, staring forward like his whole world just ended. He mutters to himself, sweating, still trying to deny what his eyes keep confirming. He repeats that it can't be real, shaking like his mind is refusing to accept the obvious. Jiyu walks up and stands over him, and Hawkeye blurts out his disbelief one more time. Jiyu explains he kept Hawkeye alive on purpose and that holding back took effort, like mercy is just extra work for him. Hawkeye asks why he isn't being killed, almost begging for the answer. Jiyu says it's obvious, pointing out the arrow from earlier, and Hawkeye's face tightens in dread. The guy reveals Hawkeye was the one who shot him, and his stare turns sharp, like the bill is due. Hawkeye freezes, eyes wet and wide, realizing he's not getting mercy anymore. The wooden stick slams into Hawkeye's face with brutal speed, ending the question in one hit. The scene pulls back to the cosmos again, hinting that what happened here is about to echo everywhere. Swords stand like grave markers under a sunset sky, making the battlefield look like a monument to defeat. This shock isn't just inside the game, but across the world of players too, like news spreading fast. It keeps stressing the impact reaches even people who don't play, turning this into something bigger than a match. The wooden stick drifts in the air, still innocent looking, like it can't believe what it just did. Jiyu stands in the sunset, holding the stick low, looking annoyed like this was a chore. Urus pops out again, cheering that he took everyone down, still calling him sir like a loyal pet. Footsteps approach across the dirt, sharp and calm, like a new player just entered the stage. Jiyu's eye shifts as he senses someone powerful coming closer. A tall figure in heels walks toward them from the distance, framed by bodies and sunset. Jiyu looks up and realizes there's still one enemy left, and his tone turns irritated. His eye narrows in annoyance, like he hates that the cleanup isn't done. In his eye's reflection, a long-haired woman with a staff appears, glowing like she belongs on a higher tier than the rest. They face each other across the ruined field, the silence heavy, like the real fight is finally here. Jiyu stands glowing in the same light, staring straight at her surprised. His face hardens into full focus, like he's ready to stop joking and start being serious. Luna's lips curl into a small grin, and that smile feels way too confident for a battlefield like this. Her eyes are steady and bright, like she's been waiting to meet someone like him. Luna's grin stays, calm and teasing, like she knows something he doesn't. She smiles like she's meeting an old friend and calls the guy out like he's some newbie. Jiyu stares back, eyes sharp and tired. He's clearly been through hell, and he's not in the mood for her games. From far away, the two face each other at sunset, surrounded by bodies and swords stuck in the dirt. In his head, it feels like a movie scene, but the smell of death says it's real. Jiyu lowers his gaze like he's holding in rage. You can tell he's trying to stay calm. We flash to the kind of trash talk that sticks with you for years, the kind that makes your blood boil. She's always been like that. Jiyu lets out a dry laugh, like he's past the point of normal anger. It's more like he finds the whole thing pathetic. Jiyu calls out the lie in his own blunt way and says she came looking for him. Jiyu looks off to the side, thinking through his next move. He's not going to get baited into dumb talk forever. He admits he wants to smash her face right now, but he keeps talking anyway. Then he drops a weird detail he noticed about her hair. From a distance, he asks if she dyed it, like they're having small talk at a bus stop. She gets excited that he noticed, like she's proud of a makeover. She explains she changed after killing him and advancing into something called a goddess of life. She says it like it's a cute promotion. Then, the narration reminds us she reached this by killing a huge number of people. Back in the sunset, Luna explains her hair changed the moment she advanced. She looks proud, like it proves she's special. Jae-yu's face hardens as he listens. The more she talks, the more he wants to end it. He goes quiet, breathing steady. The club spins up through the air, fast and heavy. He's done listening. He points the club like an accusation and mocks the idea of her being about life. To him, she's more like a walking curse. She stands tall in her white robes, wings and staff making her look holy at first glance. But that calm smile says she knows she's untouchable. She agrees the name is funny, like it's a joke between them. He snaps back, shocked she's still acting cute about it. His anger finally breaks through. She suddenly drops from above, smashing down with a massive blast. The ground erupts like she's calling down punishment. Ji-yu declares he's done with the jokes and says it's time to beat her. He's fully locked in now. Another explosion blooms, loud and bright enough to drown out thought. The whole field shakes. Dust and wind swirl around him as he stands his ground. He's still there, club raised, refusing to move. Jae-yu glares through the dust, eyes narrowed. He's measuring her, looking for any opening. She says it's a shame, like she wanted this to last longer. That tells you she's enjoying herself. She steps forward and claims she still had so much she wanted to tell him. He reacts instantly, like he can't stand another word. He charges in, teeth clenched, swinging the club with full intent to crush. The impact hits with a huge blast, kicking up a ring of fire and dust. It looks like a clean hit. The ground splits and collapses where the force lands. For a second, it feels like he actually got her. Urus cheers like it's a perfect shot. It celebrates hard and declares she's done. Jae-yu just stands there like he's not convinced. He brushes it off and acts like it was nothing, trying to look cool. But he's still watching the dust. He starts talking about how loudmouths always lose, but his words cut off. Something feels wrong. His eye widens in sudden alarm. He sees it. The dust clears into a giant swirling crater, like a huge bowl carved into the earth. She's still standing at the far end, totally fine. She smiles and praises him for getting stronger. Then she crushes that hope by saying it's still not enough. She flat out says he can't kill her. Her eyes shine like she's stating a law of nature. Urus panics and points out the obvious, accidentally stepping all over the guy's face. Jae-yu and his companion stare at her in stunned silence. She stands there like a queen, waiting for applause. She grins again, totally calm, totally sure of herself. It's like she knows he can't touch her. Urus flinches, feeling a chill for no clear reason. It's like her gaze itself is pressure. Urus realizes they made eye contact, and it freaks him out. It thought only Jae-yu can see it. Ji-yu shoves the companion aside and says the whole thing is strange. He's trying to understand what just happened. From far away, he asks how she's standing there without a scratch after taking her attack. She reminds him she already told him what she became. She's not just strong, she's something else. She leans in with a cold question, asking if a human really thought they could kill a god. Ji-yu answers with a simple wow, like he's impressed by her ego more than her power. He lifts his club with a smile and admits she's getting on his nerves. He launches himself forward, body cutting through the air like a missile. He's going for her again. Mid-flight, his face is tense and focused, club raised for another heavy strike. He's putting everything into it. A blast erupts again, and Ji-yu gets thrown back by the force. It's like the world itself swats him away. He tumbles through the air, still gripping the club. He refuses to let go, even while getting launched. Another wave of destruction rips across the horizon. The explosions keep stacking up like she's flexing. He pushes through the storm of blasts, charging forward anyway. The shockwaves reach beyond the battlefield, like they're hitting the planet itself. Urus floats in the air, shaking as the booms keep coming. He looks like he's about to pass out from fear. He freaks out, saying the whole continent feels like it's shaking and they'll all vanish into dust. The tremors and fear linger like an echo. Her calm voice stays on top of it all, like she's already won. Luna lands lightly with wings spread, like she just finished stretching. The glow around her makes her look unreal. She holds that pose, perfectly composed, like she's showing off for an audience. From behind her wings, she towers over the crater while Ji-yu looks tiny in the distance. Urus stares in shock, not even able to process what he's seeing. He stands there silent, sweating, eyes flat like he's thinking hard. He's searching for a way around her immortality. Her heel taps the dirt with a calm step, like she's walking to a meeting. The battlefield is just her stage. Step by step, she closes the distance as the sun burns behind them. Now they're face to face, both glowing from the sunset. If you don't know better, you'll mistake it for a romantic confession. But Ji-Yu's eye sharpens, like he just made a decision. He closes his eye for a moment, like a deep breath before jumping off a cliff. Then he opens back up ready. He sighs right in front of her, like she's annoying, not terrifying. He pivots his bare feet on the dirt and turns away from her. It looks like he's leaving, but it's something else. Behind her, he cracks his shoulder like he's warming up for a real swing. Ji-Yu announces he'll swing with all his power and split things clean in two. He's not aiming at her anymore. She laughs and says he still can't kill her, and then she realizes what he means. He's threatening the entire planet. The idea hangs in the air like a bomb. Her smile starts to slip because this isn't a normal threat. Ji-Yu says if he can't kill her directly, he'll destroy the planet. His grin is wild, like he truly has nothing left. Luna argues he'll die too if he does that, either caught in the blast or thrown into space. She's trying to talk him down with logic. She says she was wondering what he was talking about, still trying to keep control, but she's clearly rattled. From the sunset ridge, she questions if a mere human can even do something like that. He repeats that he will swing with all his power, and his body tenses like a coiled spring. He's committed. A grayscale flash shows how much power he's been holding back all day. This whole fight was him playing with the brakes on. Her expression turns serious, the smugness fading into real concern. She finally understands the danger isn't to her body, but to everything. She warns him that destroying the planet would kill him too, and calls it suicide, not revenge. She tries to shame him into stopping. He looks away, face shadowed, like he doesn't care about her judgment. He's already crossed that line in his head. Another grayscale memory flashes of chaos and people getting destroyed, like a reminder of how brutal this world has been. This guy isn't bluffing because he's seen worse. We cut to a close smile with sharp teeth peeking out. Someone in this story enjoys pain way too much. For the 9th time, he remembers the people who roasted him in Chapter 1. Back on the battlefield, Ji-Yu starts laughing like a maniac. The laughter is loud enough to feel like it's cracking the air. Another grayscale memory flashes of a rude kid in a crowd, mocking like a bully. It hints the guy's rage has deep roots. He tells her to listen up like she's the child here. In a dramatic grayscale close-up, Ji-Yu says it's time to teach her a lesson. She looks nervous now, sweating as she talks about little trolls who don't understand how things work. He lifts the club high, repeating her word like it's a joke. He's turning her warning into fuel. He says he has nothing to lose, and that makes him the worst enemy. His face is pure determination mixed with insanity. Her lips tighten and a sweat drop forms. She's scared, and she hates that feeling. She reaches out and tries to stop him, telling him to wait. It's the first time she begs, even a little. Ji-Yu slams down with a strike that looks like a beam of force. The air screams as the power drops straight through. The club hits with insane impact, sending a shock through the ground. The light around the strike makes it look like the world is splitting. A wide view shows the shockwave ripping outward in rings, swallowing the battlefield. Even she looks small inside the blast now. Her eyes go wide in real panic. That untouchable goddess mask is gone. Urus screams as he gets flung around by the force. He's just trying to survive the fallout. Ji-Yu's eyes glow red with pure rage as the power surges. He looks like he's become something else for a moment. Light cracks across the land like glowing scars. The ground is breaking apart in huge lines. The planet blooms with a massive explosion of light. The explosion becomes a blinding sphere, growing and swallowing the view. There's no hiding from that. A glowing blast expands in the dark, like a star being born the wrong way. The planet is basically gone. The light keeps expanding through space, beautiful and terrifying at once. That single swing really ended a world. Hard cut to the real world, a modern building with a virtual reality arcade sign. So yeah, that world-ending fight was inside the game. Inside, rows of VR capsules line a clean room, looking like sci-fi beds. Everything is calm here, which is hilarious after that planet just exploded. A worker at the front desk is asleep on the job. Perfect timing for chaos. He wakes up confused, realizing something is wrong. You can feel the panic building. Players rip off their headsets, yelling that they got kicked out. The room turns into a loud complaint festival. Two guys argue, mad they got booted mid-boss fight. Everyone feels robbed. They storm the counter and blame the worker, asking if the power got cut. The worker just looks helpless. More players gather and demand answers while the worker begs them to calm down. He swears he didn't do anything. One guy wonders if the game servers crashed. Nobody wants to hear that. Someone checks the site and says an official post just dropped. Everyone's attention snaps to their phones. A big notice banner appears, posted by the game staff. It's the kind of message you already know will be bad news. The notice says it's emergency maintenance and apologizes for interrupting gameplay. That's the polite way to say everything is broken. A girl reads it out and confirms the servers are really down. The disappointment hits the whole room. But then a capsule display still says in use, like someone is still logged in. That's weird enough to make people freeze. The screen shows someone is currently playing Chrono Life, even during the shutdown. That should be impossible. A system message appears, main system activating. Another message says the client is ready with a new version number. It feels like the game just updated itself. The system starts scanning for online users. It reports only one user online. One person is still inside the game, alone. That lone player appears in a white digital space, standing on a grid filled with floating numbers. GU looks around, confused but alert, still wearing his in-game cloak like it's normal. He has no clue what just happened. He asks where he is as the digital grid stretches forever. It's empty, like a server room turned into a world. He turns and walks across the glowing floor, still holding the club. The silence feels like he stepped outside reality. He says a strange code name out loud, like it just popped into his mind. A strange man steps into view, and a voice explains the code is the planet he destroyed. We see the huge blonde figure standing near him in the digital space. The stranger asks why GU destroyed that planet. Close up, the blonde man says that planet was his mum's favorite place. Jiu turns with a hard stare, instantly defensive. He doesn't like being judged by some random stranger. He demands to know who this person is. The question hangs in the empty digital world. The blonde figure repeats the question back, like it's funny. His face stays half hidden, but the confidence is obvious. The stranger stays quiet for a beat, letting tension build. A slow smile spreads across the stranger's mouth. That smile is not friendly at all. He reveals a terrifying grin and claims he's a god. And in that blank digital space, it suddenly feels like he might be telling the truth. Turning around, GU says he does not care who the stranger is and asks if he has seen a black-haired girl. The so-called god flat out says no, claiming they are alone. A system window pops up and GU notices the online count is literally 1. That means he is the only player online. God teases him for being shocked and then drops the bomb that the GU is the one who wiped everyone out. To prove it, the scene flashes to that insane planet-busting explosion, the kind that should leave nothing alive. The god points out that GU destroyed all life, but GU just laughs it off. The god's face goes stiff, like he cannot believe this attitude. GU's laugh turns into a full-on rage burst. He yanks up his wooden club and screams that he finally got revenge. The god basically shrugs and acts like this is what online games are about. GU starts calling out for Urus, expecting his little pet to appear. There is only silence. GU even smacks his stick like it is a microphone check, but still gets nothing back. With a smug little reminder, the god repeats that they are the only ones there. GU's eyes narrow as he tries to make sense of it. The god explains that if it is only them, then that little furry companion is not here either. GU points at the online user screen and asks why the god is here at all. Trying to label the guy, he asks if the god is an NPC or an admin. The god starts to answer, but his voice glitches like a bad connection. The glitchy buzzing keeps cutting him off. Whatever he was about to say, the world itself will not let it come out clean. The god gets annoyed, like someone is messing with his script. Then a bright flash blooms between them, as if the server is force closing the scene. Light pours down and GU panics. The god calmly says he has to go, but claims their meeting had a reason. Waving goodbye like a streamer ending a broadcast, the god tells him to say hello to the furry guy. GU shouts for him to wait, but the god is already fading. The whole digital space washes out until both figures are barely visible silhouettes, swallowed by white. A log-out message hits, and the scene snaps back to the real world. A sleek virtual reality capsule room. One capsule hisses, the door sliding open with a rush of air, like someone just got kicked out mid-session. Jai-Yu Lee steps out wearing a tracksuit and VR gear. He pulls the headset off, still processing the weird god encounter. He looks annoyed more than scared, asking himself what the point was if the guy just showed up to vanish. When he asks who the furry guy is, the camera reveals a scary-looking older man waiting with a whole squad of suited bodyguards. Ji-Yu's brain instantly labels him as trouble. The older man, Choi, stands up and walks over with heavy steps, approaching Ji-Yu. He calls out Ji-Yu Lee, a 21-year-old who has played Chrono Life for only 3 months. Then he talks about his weapon, the ridiculous +99 reinforced wooden stick. Choi asks if Jai-Yu is the one, and Ji-Yu awkwardly confirms while sweating hard. He asks who this intimidating guy even is. With a dramatic move, the man pulls down his sunglasses and says he is here to take Ji-Yu's wooden stick away, no negotiations. Ji-Yu introduces himself like that will help. A flashback starts, showing how normal he was at first, just another college kid playing the game. Back then, he was a total newbie, hyped over even a shiny basic sword like it was legendary treasure. But somehow he ended up making the +99 stick, then used it to crush anyone who annoyed him, leaving a whole field of bodies behind. The flashback focuses on a black-haired girl who got caught in his chaos, and then cuts back to that planet explosion again, showing how far it went. It wraps up with the god appearing out of nowhere, calling himself a god, then disappearing without explaining anything. Now it is night outside, and a convoy pulls up at a humble restaurant called Grandma's Soup, like a rich guy chose the most random meeting spot. The camera zooms in on the sign, then cuts inside to a bubbling hot pot on the table, steaming like it is about to start a food war. Jai-Yu sits across from Choi while bodyguards line the walls. Choi tells him to eat up, praising the soup like it is a personal tradition. Jai-Yu nervously takes a bite, still feeling like he's in danger. Choi says he used to come here all the time when he was broke. While casually slurping, Choi says he has been coming for 15 years, ever since he started the company behind Chrono Life. Jai-Yu's eyes widen, because that explains the suits. Ji-Yu tries to connect the dots, and the man finally introduces himself properly as Deokbae Choi, the CEO of Chrono Life. Ji-Yu freaks out, thinking he mistook him for a mob boss, and asks who the suited men are. Choi calmly labels them as key staff from different departments. Ji-Yu admits he got scared and demands to know what the CEO wants. Choi answers like it is obvious and reminds him about what he said earlier at the arcade. Choi states the mission: confiscate that +99 reinforced wooden stick. Jai-Yu just stares, stunned, like he heard someone say they are taking his whole account. Choi explains it is because the item looks bugged and dangerous for the game's balance. Ji-Yu snaps back, saying it is not a bug because he reinforced it himself. Choi brings up the insane 3% success rate after +10, meaning Jai-Yu's +99 is basically impossible. He explains the odds drop even more as you go higher. Choi stares like he expects Ji-Yu to understand the problem. Ji-Yu stays quiet, sweating, because he knows the math looks cursed. Ji-Yu leans on the table, tense. Choi closes his eyes and exhales like he is tired of this whole mess. Choi repeats the confiscation line again, and the scene jumps back to the game world in daylight, showing the bright town and ruins area. At the starting ruins, a huge beast snarls, jaws opening wide. The vibe is instantly boss fight panic. The monster is labeled Urus, and it charges straight at a party. You can feel the ground pounding as the team braces. The charge keeps coming, and the team responds with a flashy fire crystal attack. Flames swirl like someone pressed the big spell button. A young mage girl swings her staff and fires a flaming missile straight into the monster, aiming to stop it cold. The blast erupts in a huge fire pillar, and the monster screams through the flames, still looking nasty. One teammate praises the hit and says they just need one more good attack. Meanwhile, the pink-haired fighter is already sprinting ahead, way too hyped. The fighter keeps rushing forward like she wants the spotlight. The rest of the party is mid-plan, but she is doing her own thing. The leader panics, yelling that she cannot attack alone, but she gets swatted hard by the monster. It is a clean disaster. The fighter flies up like a ragdoll and crashes down. The mage looks tiny below, realizing how bad that mistake was. The mage makes an awkward little sound like she has no idea what to do. Then the fighter slams into the ground with a brutal thud. The party yells to get her up because their mage is down. Off on a hill, Jai-Yu sits watching, while someone in the chaos screams to run away. Jai Yu looks bored and sighs like this is just background noise to him now. He mutters what now, like he is annoyed the world keeps bothering him. Behind him, Urus is busy munching on food. Ji Yu turns, confused, asking what Urus means. His eyes sharpen as he listens. Without rushing, Ji Yu reaches down and grabs his wooden stick. The game UI proudly labels it as the plus 99 reinforced wooden stick with absurd durability. His face goes cold and serious for a second. Then the story snaps back to the restaurant sign outside, still glowing in the night. Back at the table, Choi repeats the confiscation line like it is official paperwork. Ji Yu forces a strained smile, clearly not agreeing. Choi admits that is what the company wants, but he has a different idea. That is when Ji Yu finally pays attention. Ji Yu leans in, confused. Choi taps his spoon and says after checking, the stick was not a bug at all, just a regular item. Choi says he decided they will not interfere with users anymore. He lists extreme outcomes, like slaying top bosses, like the game is meant to handle it. He even brings up the worst-case stuff Ji Yu caused, like mass user deaths, and even a planet getting destroyed. Then he shrugs, saying it is up to the players. Choi says it is their freedom to choose. While talking, he casually pours a red kimchi sauce into his soup. He lifts the sauce bowl like it is proof of his point, saying he has freedom in his soup, and he wants players to have that same freedom in the game. Ji Yu stares at the bowl in his hands, confused by the metaphor. The dish is passed between them like the message is being handed over too. For a second, the scene feels weirdly warm and friendly. Then the restaurant owner, an angry grandma, storms in and smacks Choi for ruining the soup again. Grandma stomps off in a huff while Ji Yu and Choi sit there in awkward silence. Ji Yu sets down the spoon like he is done dealing with this weird dinner. The scene cuts back to Ji Yu in the game world, sitting on the hill with the stick. He looks at the weapon like it is a simple tool, not some holy relic. Hearing shouting, Ji Yu reacts like he is being dragged into drama again. Down below, the party leader yells at the fighter for her reckless move. The leader keeps ranting about party positions and teamwork, calling her a troll. Ji Yu hears them calling him a loser too, and he just sits there, unimpressed. Choi's voice overlays again, saying he has one request. He talks about how proud he is of making Chrono Life a fun game. He lists freedom, excitement, and exploration, calling it the fantasy world everyone dreamed of. Then he asks Ji Yu to stop smashing everything and actually enjoy the game. The words echo over Ji Yu sitting on the hill. He spits out his anger, not buying the nice speech at all. The pink-haired fighter stands there with a splat on her chest, like she just got insulted by the universe. The party leader curses her out and kicks her from the party. The group walks away, leaving her behind. A red system message confirms she got kicked, sealing the rejection. Ji Yu watches from the hill, quiet. His mouth tightens as he repeats the CEO's words in his head like he is testing them. He calls it nonsense, insisting it is survival of the fittest out here. But Choi's message repeats anyway, telling him to take his time and enjoy the true experience. After a beat, Ji Yu lifts his stick with a sharp grin and decides that if he is going to play, it will be on his terms. The mood snaps from calm to violent in an instant. The abandoned party walks away, and Ji Yu suddenly stumbles forward, like he just made up his mind to act. As the party walks away, he shouts that the game can go to hell. The rage keeps spilling out, and he looks over his shoulder, sensing someone nearby, or maybe just sensing trouble. Someone basically curse in the air before he do so. The pink-haired fighter screams that the game is trash, and the party members know nothing about items. She is shaking with pure pay-to-win frustration. She yells that she spent a ton of money on her gear, like it should have made her untouchable. The anger hits harder because it did not save her at all. Ji Yu stands tall with his stick, cloak flapping. A quick flashback shows how he used to cry over gear, reminding us how far he has changed. Back in the present, he looks surprised for a second. Another flashback shows him in town, still that loud newbie showing off. His eyes widen, remembering the moment he first got power. The memory of raising that weapon feels like the start of his whole problem. The pink-haired fighter stomps away, declaring she does not need parties anymore and will farm solo. She is trying to sound strong, but it feels like coping. Seeing the monsters, the Sakura wannabe freezes in shock. The monsters bare their teeth, drool and fog mixing in the air. More beasts move in, red eyes glowing through dust and mist. The pack looks endless, like a wipe waiting to happen. Heavy paws pound in from all sides. The fighter stands in the center, tiny under the shadows, and the danger closes fast. She panics and clutches her head. At the same time, Ji-yu suddenly dashes in, cape whipping behind him, saving her in the nick of time. He plants his feet and raises the stick high, facing the massive pile of beasts. The motion is simple, but the intent is scary. A huge fire pillar slams down nearby, blasting the ground and throwing up smoke. Ji-yu stands with his arm raised like he owns the battlefield now. The fighter keeps holding her head, sweating hard, then slowly opens one eye to see what just saved her. Her eye goes wide with shock. The sky above spirals with light, and the two of them stand together as the wind throws leaves around. Ji-yu's expression softens into a small, confident smile. The fighter turns her head, stunned and unsure what to say. The camera drifts over the grass and floating leaves, then lands on Ji-yu's mouth as he gets ready to speak. He breaks into a friendly grin and steps closer. The fighter still looks wary, fists half raised, like she expects a trick. Ji-yu shifts his bare foot in the grass and faces her fully, closing the distance without acting threatening. From above, they look like two small players in a huge world, finally meeting. Ji-yu's lips curl like he is about to make an offer. He says, "Hey," smiling like this is no big deal. Disregarding his weird gear, Ji-yu smiles at the girl he just saved. The fighter stares back, like this is becoming the start of an in-game romance. As the moment hangs, Ji-yu starts asking if she would like something. With the bright sky swirling above them, like the game itself is waiting for their choice, Ji-yu invites her to join his party. But the girl, Love, is already in full bully mode, flipping the vibe and making it clear she does not want to team up with some random newbie. Out in the field, she even spits and walks off like she owns the place, while Ji-yu just stands there confused, holding his sad little wooden stick. And yeah, the story straight up admits this whole thing started rough. Back in real life, people are glued to their phones and gossiping, while students crowd around clips like it is the hottest drama online. Even on the train and at home in bed, everyone is watching and scrolling, like the whole world is stuck on one topic. The game's news spreads worldwide, and the words people keep using are doomsday level, like the game turned into a mass disaster. Keyboard warriors start typing non-stop, throwing huge death numbers around, then focusing on one hooded player like he is some monster. Some guy at his computer calls it all nonsense, but still ends up claiming the mystery player must be broken or cheating. Others argue back and say there is no way one person could beat millions at once, and they agree it has to be impossible. Of course, the crowd reaction gets nasty fast, with people demanding bans and screaming for justice from the developers. A big notice pops up, and the haters are already celebrating, acting like the guy is about to get punished for real. Then the hype dies down into an awkward silence, and everyone is left with the same big question hanging in the air. After all, Chrono Life just announced that Ji-yu was not hacking the game. Time passes, the controversy settles, and inside the game world, players casually trade rumors like it is normal town chatter. They explain the servers crashed because one guy destroyed too many players at once, and even the listeners sound shocked but kind of impressed. Wanted posters are everywhere, but the hood makes him hard to recognize, which just makes the legend feel bigger. Meanwhile, Ji-yu is out here smiling like nothing is serious, strolling behind Love with Urus floating along, both acting way too relaxed. Love keeps marching ahead, annoyed, while Ji-yu follows with that calm face that says he is not worried at all. Finally, Love snaps and demands to know why he is tailing her, and Ji-yu casually suggests they should party up and farm together. That sets her off even more, because she never agreed to it, and she calls him a total noob right to his face. She points out the obvious problem, like he is literally dressed in just a cape and underwear, then turns away and tells him to get lost. Ji-yu is left sweating in confusion, still thinking he saved her earlier, while Urus bluntly explains she had her eyes closed and missed everything. A quick flashback shows it clearly, with Ji-yu swinging while Love cowers, and even Ji-yu looks done with her attitude. Putting it together, Ji-yu realizes she has no clue how strong he really is, and she storms off ahead like she is the only one who matters. Seeing her pride, Ji-yu's face shifts into a sneaky grin, and he starts chasing after her, calling out like an excited kid trying to get attention. He even thinks about boosting like it is some normal favor, and Love pauses, confused that this shameless guy is still talking. Ji-yu admits he is basically a newbie and begs for help. He has a plan to keep a secret OP character identity, which makes Love stop and actually look at him like she is rethinking it. Right then, we jump back to the earlier moment of her spitting, like the story is reminding you how ugly her first impression was. In that flashback, the spit lands on her, and some angry dude rages at her like she just started a whole fight for no reason. Back to the present, Love's eyes shine like she made up her mind, while Ji-yu whispers to Urus that he is going to pretend to be weak. Urus is confused by the idea, but Ji-yu insists it is part of his plan to keep his real strength hidden. Love finally makes the move and sends an invite, and Ji-yu and Urus both freeze for a second like they did not expect her to accept. Love stands there acting smug, like she is doing charity work. And the scene cuts to a cave entrance where the grinding is about to start. Inside, Love charges in with a loud battle cry and smashes a pack of bunny bear monsters with a clean punch. One of the bunny bears roars like it's a boss, but she launches it anyway, sending its huge body flying across the cave. Another bunny bear goes berserk and swings, and Love gets clipped hard, crashing into the ground from the impact. She shakes it off with a breath, then flips through the air as more bunny bears close in around her. A bunny bear lunges up close, but Love snaps into a high kick stance, ready to punish it. She slams down with a flashy falling strike that looks like a dragon hit, and even the monsters hesitate for a split second. Bodies drop around her, and she poses like a champion, basically daring the rest to come try their luck. She keeps that same confident pose, and the cave fills with loud crashing sounds as the fight continues off to the side. Watching from the back, Ji-yu admits she is pretty good, and a caption confirms she is boosting him while she kicks through mobs alone. Urus tells Ji-yu not to worry because her gear is insane, and Ji-yu's eyes widen when he hears how expensive her weapon is. It gets crazier when Urus says her full set is worth a ridiculous amount, then bluntly explains it is all from real money spending. A flashback shows Love yelling at people for not understanding items, looking like she takes this game way too personal. She looks furious and emotional, and Ji-yu, watching, is stunned that anyone would spend that much cash on a game. Back in the cave, Love snaps at Ji-yu and calls him out for just sitting there, demanding he at least swing his wooden stick. Ji-yu looks down at his sad weapon like he cannot believe she is serious, but she lectures him that he has to fight if he wants to improve. While she rants about how noobs never try to grow, Ji-yu lightly bonks a giant bunny bear, and somehow the monster explodes in a bright blast. Both of them freeze, confused by the sudden wind and shockwave, and Ji-yu's face screams trouble like he knows that was not normal. A notification sound pops up, and Love gets a real-life message reminding her she is almost on stage, telling her to hurry up. Her eyes shift and she exhales, clearly forcing herself to calm down and focus on her schedule. She tells Ji-yu she is logging out for a bit, sets a time limit, and disappears through a glowing exit while Urus and Ji-yu watch. Ji-yu is left wondering why she left so suddenly. Then he starts thinking about her real job and how she even has that kind of money. Cut to the real world at night, outside a huge building, then inside a hallway marked as the performer waiting area. Love is stretched out on a bed with a VR headset like she has been gaming instead of resting, and a system message confirms she logged out. She finally sits up and we get a close look at her face, calm and composed like she is switching modes. Love takes a breath, eyes sharp behind her glasses, like she is preparing to deal with real-life stress now. A quick flashback reminds us how Ji-yu chased after Love earlier, and his goofy face makes the whole memory feel even weirder. Then we flash to Love's annoyed look, and Love's lips curl into a small smile, like she is amused by the chaos she caused. Her manager storms in and screams at her for lying around with VR gear, accusing her of risking her career right before the show. Love fires back, and the two argue like family, but the manager forces her up anyway because the stage time is close. The manager scolds her about wearing glasses during games, and Love complains too, saying she feels uneasy without them. Even while helping, the manager admits Love drives her crazy, then adds that without the money, she would have quit a long time ago. Makeup tools clack on the table, and the manager grabs Love's glasses to start getting her ready fast. The glasses are set down, and the camera even lingers on the expensive-looking brand mark on her sandal like she is living that rich life. The manager applies makeup with quick, pro hands, then checks Love's hair like every detail has to be perfect. Love's long pink hair swings as she moves, and the scene snaps to bright stage lights blasting down like the concert is starting. The crowd is massive, and the hype text says she has been dominating the charts for weeks, like she is untouchable. Fans scream her name as she comes out, and in her idol persona, she throws heart signs and sweet gestures like she is everyone's first love. Now she is on stage with her guitar, smiling at the crowd, and the info card reveals her name and age, Sarang-han. 17-year-old, a famous idol and singer-songwriter. The narrator points out her secret hobby is online gaming. And right back in the dungeon, something heavy starts sliding down with a scary rush. A huge bunny bear rolls and crashes toward Ji-yu and Urus, and Ji-yu cracks his neck like he is about to stop pretending. Urus asks what kind of practice this is, and Ji-yu smirks, reminding himself he still needs to act like a newbie while planning something darker. A whole wave of bunny bears gathers with glowing red eyes, and Ji-yu stands there in underwear and a cape, looking way too calm for the danger. His training is to not defeat monsters in one hit. Far above, a cosmic blast shoots upward like the world itself is reacting, and a mysterious godlike figure watches with interest. That same godlike presence floats in space, commenting on how interesting this approach is, like Ji-yu's actions are part of a bigger plan. The scene ends on a blazing sun-like glow as the god's words hang there, making it clear something huge is about to happen next. A pink-haired idol flashes a sweet smile and makes a heart with her hands, pushing a super romantic first love image like it is the only thing that matters. On stage, Sarang-han greets the crowd with full sparkle mode, holding her guitar and looking straight into the cameras like she owns the whole night. The story rewinds to her real life. A 17-year-old high school freshman, which already sounds wild for someone this famous. We get the quick career rundown. She entered the music world young, struggled to be noticed, and then shot up into the nation's top idol and singer-songwriter. During an interview, the host congratulates her for staying #1 for weeks and praises the sad lyrics of her hit song, Mermaid's Tale. Sarang acts shy and says she likes being alone at home, reading poetry and fairy tales. But the moment the host brings up fairy tales, she panics and tries to shut it down. She laughs it off as embarrassing, and the host gets flustered too, clearly charmed by her cute act. Even the staff and audience are getting swept up by the mood, like everyone is watching a sweet romance scene in real time. But away from the stage, her manager watches the broadcast while sipping tea, and her face says she is not buying any of this. The manager calls Sarang's image fake and admits Sarang is smart for controlling the whole nation, then repeats the poetry and fairy tale talk like it is the biggest lie ever. We learn Sarang has a secret hobby the public knows nothing about, and it is not the cute reading habit she sells on TV. Back at the interview, the host brings up her acting career and a new drama role, and Sarang's smile twitches for just a second. She admits that role has been weighing on her. It requires her to curse non-stop, and she says she struggles to do that. She then quickly forces her idle smile back on, trying to keep the vibe bright. And then the mask drops in the most savage way possible, like her real personality just kicked down the door. Cut to a game-like dungeon. Love kicks Ji-yu, screaming that she, the boss, is here, while the poor guy stares in total confusion. She yells at him to stop acting like a loser, and starts beating him up again, demanding to know if he wants her help or not. Terrified, he agrees instantly. Urus watches while Ji-yu insists he has to keep up a secretly overpowered persona by pretending to be weak, even while he is getting smacked around. Love forces him to repeat her title, basically training him like a pet. Urus looks dead inside, thinking Ji-yu is way too deep in this act. The dungeon goes quiet, then footsteps echo closer, hinting that something else is moving in this cave. Love casually asks if Ji-yu practiced killing monsters. He smirks and says he practiced something, and he plans to keep doing it for a long time. Urus mocks him for hitting monsters without killing them, but Love doesn't care and decides to test his progress right now. She suddenly realizes she never learned his name, but he dodges the question and sticks her with a dumb nickname instead, acting like that solves everything. She complains it is easy to say and wonders why he even asked about names. As they walk deeper, the cave feels like it has eyes on them. Hidden in the shadows, cloaked figures appear. Their leader has glowing red eyes, and he quietly confirms they finally found their target. The leader keeps watching the newbie and the pink-haired fighter, while his group waits for orders, ready to jump them in the narrow cave. He announces that all guild members are gathered here and declares that tonight, justice will be served, like he is the hero in his own story. A huge bunny bear monster roars and appears with a game-style warning, staring down Love in the cave. She points forward and orders Ji-yu to attack. He charges screaming, and the bunny bear charges back, turning into a messy head-on clash. Ji-yu wobbles toward the monster, looking like he's about to faint, but he keeps swinging his wooden stick anyway. The bunny bear pauses, confused, because the stick actually touches it. The hit is weak, but the contact still counts. A note confirms the hit landed, and then Ji-yu suddenly smacks the bunny bear hard enough to make it explode with blood. Like the damage makes no sense. The monster's eyes go blank, and it slams down dead, spraying blood as the newbie finishes the takedown. Its health drops to nothing. Ji-yu stands there with his stick raised, shocked that it worked that well. He grins like he just did something awesome. Love praises him for getting stronger. Meanwhile, Urus looks traumatized by how brutal that was. Out of nowhere, a blade slices through the air toward Love, and her eye snaps wide as she senses the ambush. Before Ji-yu can react, Love snatches at him. She kicks the blade away and helps Ji-yu dodge the attack. A grinning older man in a cloak catches the thrown weapon like this is all part of his plan. Blood drips from the older man's face, but he doesn't care. He calls the Love's performance pretty good and implies that her gear is the real reason they're here. Love demands to know who he is, and then the man steps forward with his crew, revealing himself as Mr. Kim from the Halasan Guild. More Halasan Guild managers show up behind him, including Mr. He, Mr. Lee, and Mr. Jong, surrounding the area like they planned a full raid. More names appear, including Mr. Choi and Mr. O. Love realizes this is the Halasan Guild for real, and her face turns serious. Mr. Kim smiles like an old bully seeing someone he hates again, and he points like he's done waiting. With one command, the guild rushes the fighter. Love tells Ji-yu to stay back because it is dangerous, trying to protect him. She takes a fighting stance, calm and confident, while attackers swing swords in from multiple angles. Her eyes sharpen, and she moves first, smashing one attacker mid-air with a brutal kick that sends him flying. The guy's face twists from the impact, and she stomps another one down without slowing, turning their rush into a pile of bodies. She flips up high over the crowd, then drops like a missile, unleashing a huge falling strike that looks like a dragon made of blue energy. The attack blasts the ground and throws enemies everywhere. From the side, Ji-yu and Urus just sit there, watching the chaos like they are at a show. Ji-yu finally asks what is even happening, then looks over and figures out the basics. The Halasan Guild picked a fight with Love, and she is winning again. He explains she has beaten them every time, but the old man refused to quit and came back for revenge, still thinking he can force a win. From above, more enemies are already down. Ji-yu adds that they are weak compared to her, and even Urus laughs at how badly the guild messed up. Mr. Kim stands back with an elf-like woman, watching their men get wrecked. He claims everything is going according to plan and tells her to move now that the fighter's guard is down. Mr. Kim stays calm as the elf woman dashes in fast, and Love notices the movement too late. The elf woman's black claws flash, and she closes in. Love watches in shock, realizing she is fighting with her bare hands too. The elf woman uses a stealing ability, and a bright flash erupts as something important gets taken mid-fight. Love's expression changes from confident to alarmed, like she just felt part of her strength vanish. She looks down at her hands and realizes her special knuckles are gone. The elf woman steps back, praising the weapon and showing off what she stole. The elf woman taunts her, basically asking if she's rich, because those knuckles are worth a crazy amount of gold. Ji-yu and Urus recognize the steal skill as a thief move. Urus says that steal is not normally that strong, but the newbie shrugs it off, claiming he has nothing worth stealing besides his underwear and cape. The camera even points out his sad wooden stick, like that is his whole life savings. He keeps lounging like he is not in danger at all. Then he gulps, finally realizing that having his wood stolen is actually bad news. He springs up and faces the elf woman in Love, like he's about to do something reckless. And he did. Ji-yu charges in yelling, but the elf woman doesn't even care. Mr. Kim tells her to ignore him since he is just a poor newbie with nothing worth taking. She doubles down, sure he is useless, and Ji-yu suddenly runs away deeper into the cave with panic marks over his head. But the elf woman smirks, enjoying herself. To her, stealing from poor guys is delightful. Mr. Kim's eyes go wide when the stolen knuckles get tossed into his hands. The elf woman complains that he is no fun and leans in with a nasty grin, saying stealing from the poor is way more fun. Ji-yu skids to a stop and she calls him over like she's playing with prey, asking where he thinks he's going. She keeps smiling, while Ji-yu turns back, gripping his stick and trembling, forced into a one-on-one moment. Her clawed hand reaches toward him, and he clenches his wooden stick so hard it looks like it might snap. He swings with everything he has, and a massive shockwave crashes through the cave like the air itself shatters from the hit. Love stares, stunned, while Mr. Kim watches with a cold, measured look, realizing the newbie is not normal at all. Even Urus is speechless, smoke and dust swirl, hiding what happened after that insane strike. A hand appears through the smoke, and GU steps forward in his underwear and cape. His stick is gone. The dust clears enough to show him facing the elf woman at close range. She smiles and says, "This is perfect," like she wanted this outcome. She blushes while grinning and claims his wooden stick belongs to her now. GU's face turns into pure horror, sweating like his whole plan just got exposed. Then she notices something off, like a shadow moving where it should not. A huge, purple, monster-like presence starts to rise, and the air turns heavy. A giant purple eye opens, and the pressure slams into her like a warning from some ancient beast. Before she can react, she gets blasted and sent flying across the cave floor. The wooden stick clatters down near Jiayu's bare feet. He doesn't flinch, just stands there like this is normal. He calmly picks up the club, and a system message pops up saying the weapon rejected the enemy and returned to its owner. Whatever tried to claim it just failed hard. Something small and annoyed reacts to the whole thing, like it got personally insulted. Urus is ranting about how no one gets to own it except this human. The little creature keeps trash-talking, but GU shuts it down in the funniest way possible. He just pats its head like it's a noisy kid. The pet freezes, shocked by the casual affection, while the elf is still trying to process what she just saw. Her face is all sweat and panic now. Still on the ground, she stares at them like they're both crazy. She blurts out that she has no idea what that terrifying thing was. She tries to convince herself it was an illusion, but it felt way too real. Right then, Mr. Kim storms in and yells at her for slacking off. The elf scrambles up fast and throws on her professional act, claiming she's a real mercenary who works for money. She's clearly overcompensating to hide how shaken she is. Before she can regain control, Love rushes in with a sudden strike. She's furious and demands her stolen weapon back. The elf plays it off with a smug grin, acting impressed by the sneak attack. Then she points out that Love is yelling at the wrong person. Kim smirks while holding the flashy knuckle weapons, like he's proud of being a thief. Love snaps, ready to go berserk. She tries to threaten everyone, but the moment she moves, her body wobbles. In the middle of her rage, she suddenly loses balance. She faceplants hard, and it's obvious Jiayu did something. He casually calls it a secret tactic and says it's about stopping someone without killing them. The elf looks between him and the group, confused why he just helped her side. Jiu explains he was just trying to look secretly strong and mysterious. The elf repeats his words like she can't believe what she's hearing. Then, out of nowhere, a big blast goes off, wiping out the mob of cloaked attackers. When the smoke clears, the enemies are scattered all over the cave floor like dropped laundry. The elf goes quiet, realizing how bad this just got. She sees Kim knocked out too, and the stolen knuckles are lying there. Turning back, she asks Jiu if he really did that. Instead of answering politely, he suddenly smacks the elf down with his club. Then he admits straight up that, yes, it was him. The elf coughs blood as her health drops, stunned by the power gap. The scene even labels his move again, like it's some ridiculous signature technique. He talks like he's being patient, but his grip tightens on the club anyway. Even with all his calm talk, you can feel he's done playing around. Suddenly he freaks out, saying her earlier monster stunt nearly gave him a heart attack. The elf stays down, realizing he's not scared of enemies, just surprised by weird stuff. A massive explosion flashes somewhere outside, like the world itself just got punctured by light. Right after, Love is shown knocked out on grass, waking up dazed. She fully comes to and springs upright, alarmed and confused. Her eyes scan around like she got teleport jumped mid-fight. Now she's in a peaceful field near a tree, and Jiu is chilling there eating meat like it's a picnic. She blurts out the thing she's most embarrassed about, realizing his cape trick left him basically exposed. Still flustered, she demands to know where they are and where the enemy group went. Jiu casually explains they already left, like it's no big deal. She can't accept it and asks why she got knocked out. He stays silent while chewing, which somehow makes it more annoying. Without warning, he tosses the stolen knuckles to her. She catches them and realizes her weapon is safe, which instantly flips her mood. Jiu asks if the attackers were the Halasan Guild. Then he leans in, serious for once, and demands she explain everything. She hesitates, cheeks a bit red from the awkward situation, and he tries acting cool again. That act lasts 2 seconds before she pinches his face and tells him to stop. She smirks like she's taking back control of the conversation. Then she turns away and says she'll explain, admitting she dragged him into this mess. While adjusting her knuckles, she asks if he's heard of old lineages. He looks blank, clearly having no clue what she means. Urus jumps in and explains it's about older players from another game world, acting like a walking trivia page. GU whispers in disbelief that an NPC should not know this. The pet claims it learned it online, which is such a wild answer that it breaks everyone's brain. It rambles forever, while Love says she will keep it short. Love sums it up. These guys spend crazy amounts of money on the game. The cloaked guy connects the dots and says the Hallison Guild are basically those rich old lineages. She explains she found these knuckles at an auction months ago, and since then the guild has been chasing her non-stop. In her mind, they are just old men with bad reflexes, so she keeps winning. Love asks the obvious question, why was GU even carrying them, and did he steal them back? GU awkwardly says the guild basically left them behind, like they forgot them. She admits she doesn't know the full story, but she's sure the creepy guy with dark lips will return. GU starts thinking deeper, saying something about this hunt feels strange. She insists it's simple because the knuckles are worth a fortune in their world. Jai-Yu repeats that the high price is exactly why the situation feels off. Her eyes widen because she finally sees what he means. From far above, the two of them look tiny in the field as he says there has to be another reason. They're already rich, so why are they so fixated on this item? Inside, Kim is hurt and panicking, clearly reporting failure. He collapses on the floor in front of a tall, armored leader in a red cape. Kim begs for forgiveness and another chance, sweating bullets. The leader just stands there, silent, like a judge waiting for the sentence to finish. The leader finally shuts him down and calls him scum. Then he says they can't waste time and that one of the other 4 guardians will take over the mission. Footsteps approach and Kim looks terrified at whoever is coming. A new voice complains that the problem still isn't handled and flexes about finishing other missions already. 3 heavy hitters enter together. An eye-patched sword guy, a fox-eared noble, and a tall elf decked in jewels. Panels reveal their ranks and how much money they've spent, like that's their power badge. The jeweled elf mocks the leader for being too kind, saying they should have cut the failure off sooner. Then, the fox-eared guardian is shown as rank 1, with even bigger spending behind him. The eye-patched guardian kneels near Kim, like he's about to give a lesson. He tells the loser to think bigger, saying hiring a simple mercenary was never enough. A flashback image of the elf mercenary appears, showing how badly that plan went. The leader decides to act and says he will go instead, shocking the room. A hand slips into the fox-eared guardian's hair. The fox-eared guy recognizes the knuckles by name, stunned that they are even here. The leader laughs, amused by how smooth the intruder's timing is. His laughter grows louder, like he's pleased to finally meet something interesting. The leader is revealed as Mr. Wang, and his spending is shown as absurdly high, totally dwarfing everyone else. It's clear this guy is the raid boss of wallet power. Mr. Wang orders his people to move, and the room feels like it's about to turn into a massacre. A close shot shows him smiling with blood-like splatters framing the scene. Quick cuts show the fox-eared guardian's cold stare, then the jeweled elf's hungry grin. The eye-patched swordsman grins too, enjoying the chance to kill. Then the intruder, GU, is shown calmly picking his nose, like he walked into the wrong meeting by accident. The full room shot reveals the intruder is the same cloaked guy from earlier, still half-dressed and holding the wooden club. Everyone stares at him, confused how he even got inside. Instead of fear, GU bursts into laughter and mocks their big talk and scary titles. The leader turns toward him, not amused, demanding to know who he is and how he entered. The leader asks again, voice heavy with pressure. Jai-Yu dodges the question with a smug answer, basically telling them to guess. He flicks something small, like he's casually starting a fight with zero respect. Then he jokes about how hard it is to keep his secretly strong persona while they keep bothering his boss Love. The threat lands, and you can see he's enjoying himself. His face sharpens into a scary grin, and for the first time, he looks like a real monster in human skin. Mr. Wang stays calm, almost bored, but his eyes glow with confidence. He warns the intruder that he has no idea what he's messing with. With one command, the guardians charge to kill. The jeweled elf dives with her axe. The eye-patched swordsman follows, and the fox-eared guardian lunges like a beast. Jia stands alone in the center, totally unfazed as the attacks close in. He tilts his head and smiles, like he already saw the ending. The wooden club swings with brutal speed, cutting through the air like a cannon. A huge blast erupts across the room as the strike lands. The eye-patched swordsman gets wrecked mid-rush, blasted back by raw force. Outside, the mansion sits in the night, moments away from disaster. A path leading toward the base is shown under the stars, quiet and calm. Then a pair of heels steps into frame, clicking on the ground like someone is arriving late on purpose. A girl stands in silhouette, humming while holding a heart-topped staff, like this is just a stroll. Back inside, the fox-eared guardian shouts, charging with murder in his eyes. The humming continues outside, like she doesn't care about the chaos. In the base, the cloaked guy slams the fox-eared guardian with the club, smashing him hard in one hit. The fox-eared guardian spits blood, his arrogance shattered in seconds. Outside, the humming girl's face is shown close up, still calm and almost pleased. Back inside, the cloaked guy keeps his confident grin like he's warming up. Outside, the humming continues as her long hair moves in the night breeze. Suddenly, a massive beam of light crashes down on the Hallison base, exploding the whole place like a divine punishment. The humming girl looks up, finally reacting to the blast she just caused. Close on her lips, she lets out a small sound, then curls into a quiet grin. Whoever she is, she's not shocked by what she did at all. The final reveal shows Luna, standing under the moon with her staff and a gentle smile. With the base burning behind her, it's clear she notices Jia and is looking forward to see him. Under the night sky, Luna hums like it is just another calm walk. A breeze catches long hair mid-hum, and then the whole vibe gets wrecked. A huge blast erupts in the distance, lighting up the area like a flare. The explosion keeps roaring, and the humming stops. You can almost feel the shock hit her face as she realizes something big just went down. Instead of fear, a small grin forms, like she is enjoying the chaos. When the view widens, Luna brightens up, way too pleased. The calm pose holds for a beat, like she's waiting for the next act. Inside the base, Wang is yelling orders, calling all his members to attack. Right away, red-cloaked fighters dive in from every direction like a swarm. In the middle of it all, Ji stands still, totally calm, like the whole ambush is a joke to him. His hand tightens on a plain wooden stick, and that tiny detail already feels wrong for a battlefield. Then the scene flashes like a memory. Ji faces an absurd crowd and basically dares them to try. Back in the present moment, attackers fly in under the moon, expecting an easy kill. Jia suddenly rushes forward, grinning, wearing nothing but underwear under a torn cloak, swinging that stick like it is a legendary weapon. The swing cuts the air so hard it leaves a clean arc, like a blade. The next instant is pure impact. A massive shockwave detonates upward and outward, blasting enemies off their feet. Jiu's eyes glow with confidence, like he already knew the result. The force keeps rolling across the ground like a tidal wave of heat and wind. Bodies and capes get thrown back as the blast blooms, turning the fight into a one-sided wipe. Several guild members tumble through the air, helpless. When the smoke settles, Wang stands stiff in the middle of the mess, hearing his people crash down all around him. Wang's face goes pale under his mask, sweat pouring out as he finally understands the gap. His right-hand man, Kim, crawls up behind him, shaking, trying to warn him before it gets worse. Kim begs the boss to run because this is clearly unwinnable. Wang can only stare, confused and angry, like his pride will not let him accept. Looking over the fallen members, Wang mutters about how their guild spends a crazy amount of money. He insists even their weakest members pour in massive cash, and they can still compete with top guilds, so this makes no sense. The boss grits his teeth, stuck on the same question. How is one brat crushing them all? The battlefield is littered with bodies, and Ji stands at the center like he is cleaning a room. A sudden realization hits the boss, like he recognizes the style. With a stunned stare, he wonders if this is that famous monster player people whisper about. The story leans into the rumor with a poster-like flash, a hooded figure with an insane bounty attached. Back in the fight, Jiu's ridiculous outfit becomes impossible to ignore, making the whole scene feel like a prank with terrifying power behind it. The boss is speechless that this menace is using underwear and a wooden stick to humiliate them. Then the story hard cuts to a quiet, real-world room, showing a nostalgic old computer setup and the start of a long backstory. We see an old-school game screen and learn that Wang started gaming as a kid, back when games were simple and grind-heavy. A younger version of him plays with shining eyes, looking like a kid who just found his favorite hobby. He remembers sneaking games at night and spending weekends at internet cafes, leveling with friends all day. Time passes, and the view shifts to a tall office building, showing how life pulled him into adulthood. Work takes over, and his life becomes busy and tiring, leaving little space for the past. When he finally looks up, he is already in his mid-40s, standing at the door of a CEO's office. Inside, the office is huge and polished, but he sits there thinking about old days anyway. A desk plate shows he is CEO Wang, and you can tell he is the type who gets whatever he wants. An assistant, Kim, rushes in carrying a big box, excited to deliver something. The guy's face lights up like a kid again, like this delivery is a treasure chest. He explains he worked insanely hard and wanted to reward himself with nostalgia, bringing back an old computer setup. Kim questions it, but the CEO insists it is about the vibe, not logic. His hand grips the mouse like it is a time machine, and his heart races like he is 9 again. The story compares it to meeting a first love, showing both the kid and the adult sharing the same glow-eyed joy. Then the mood shifts, hinting something is off. The CEO's smile fades a bit, like he's about to confess what he hates about modern gaming. He pauses longer, the silence getting heavy. Even without hearing the exact words, you can tell he is thinking about disappointment. He admits the world changed too, and not in a good way. Smash, back in the game, the wooden stick slams into someone's face, dragging us back to the brutal present. GU keeps pounding enemies into the ground like nails. A crater forms with flames and debris, showing his hits are not normal at all. Explosions and rubble keep falling as the battlefield shakes. The boss watches all this like he is trapped in a disaster movie, sweating harder with each blast. A wide shot shows the roof tiles shattered and red-cloaked bodies scattered everywhere under the moon. GU looks back like the cleanup is finished, and the silence after the storm feels almost... Jiu says only 2 are left, meaning the boss and his follower. The boss's eyes narrow, but he is clearly terrified under that mask. Jiu casually rests the stick on his shoulder and walks closer. With a mocking tone, he calls their downfall sad and blames them for stealing other people's weapons when they already have money. He announces it is time to punish the boss, and he says it with the chill confidence of someone lecturing a kid. Wang looks up at him, sweating like he's about to get grounded. The story cuts back to real life where the CEO is clicking non-stop, buying power with simple taps. The glow from the screen hits his face, showing he is deep into that pay-to-win habit. A payment confirmation pops up with a massive total spent, the kind of number that makes your stomach drop. Wang reflects that he did not evolve alone, meaning games changed into money equals power system. He straight up says effort stopped mattering when you could buy strength in a few clicks, dividing players into paying and non-paying groups. The phrase pay to win lands like a verdict on modern games. He pushes back from the chair, the old joy turning into tired frustration. He says he tried tons of games after that, but they all felt the same and empty. Then he reaches for a headset like he is grabbing one last hope. He finally finds a game called Chrono Life, and the name alone sounds like the kind of title that promises something different. The story returns to the fantasy world, showing a quiet house under a moon. Wang says he searched for something special he forgot during the rush of life. We see important-looking figures in a grand room, the members of his guild. The scene centers on the guild boss sitting at a massive table, like a king in his own little empire. Wang leans forward, eyes glowing, thinking he is untouchable because of his money and status. Suddenly, the view snaps to the wooden stick again. In the next moment, GU slaps Wing with his serious series. Then GU reveals he has a so-called secret tactic, and his face looks goofy for something that sounds dangerous. The secret tactic is basically a rule: strike without killing. With that, he smashes the boss down hard, planting him into the ground like a drop. Kim cries out, watching Wang tremble on the floor. GU declares the Hallison Guild is over and warns them to stop chasing Captain Love, since that threatens his secret persona. He turns to leave, tossing insults over his shoulder like he is done with them. The boss clenches both fists against the ground, rage building under the fear. Ji-yu glances back, sensing something familiar in the boss's words and reaction. Wang finally blurts it out. He believes this is the same person who wiped out top guilds and even a massive alliance. That accusation hangs in the air, and Ji-yu stays quiet, not even denying it. The boss starts laughing, like he just found the answer to his. He asks how much money it took to pull off that kind of destruction, assuming it must be insane spending. With a smug look, he claims the other guy will find out soon enough. Ji-yu's face turns flat, like he does not care about money talk at all. A flash of the CEO as a kid appears again, tied to the idea that chasing something special was pointless in a pay-to-win world. Back in the battlefield, Wang is waiting for the answer. Meanwhile, Kim looks uneasy, like he can tell the boss is revealing his true feelings. Ji-yu admits he did spend money, but calls it just a small amount, almost teasing. The boss panics, trying to guess the number, thinking it must be trillions or more. Wang presses for the truth, sweating as his imagination runs wild. Calmly, Ji-yu says all he bought was a cheap beginner warrior package, like it is pocket chain. The boss's eye twitches with disbelief, like his whole worldview is cracking. He stands frozen, unable to process that he got destroyed by someone who barely paid anything. A wide shot shows the distance between them on the cracked ground, like a duel where one side already lost. The boss lowers his head, the rage shifting into something darker and more focused. He repeats the words beginner warrior package, struggling to believe his ears. The story flashes back to the old computer and that simple starting screen, connecting the present humiliation to the CEO's past choices. The old game screen appears again, reminding us how basic things used to be. Then we see the kid at the keyboard, smiling, showing the boss once loved the pure grind before money ruined it. Back under the moon, Wang bursts into loud laughter, like he finally found something real and exciting again. The laughter echoes over the destroyed rooftop, making Kim even more confused. Kim calls out, worried the boss is losing it. Wang talks about how many games they tried after Lineage, like he is remembering a long, boring search for meaning. A smirk forms under the boss's moustache, like he has made a decision. He declares this game is the one, saying things are finally interesting again, which is honestly scary coming from him. A new voice cuts in, cheerful and teasing, like she has been watching from the sidelines the whole time. The pink-haired girl, Luna, proudly praises Chrono Life and steps into view behind the boss, making him stiffen in surprise. She waves hello to the Halcyon Guild, acting like she is visiting friends, not a battlefield. Then she casually comments that their base is a total mess, walking through the wreckage like it is her living room. Her foot pivots lightly on the cracked ground, showing she's relaxed and in control. With a bright smile, she asks how that big plan is going and whether the preparations are going well. The boss tries to answer, but even he hesitates, realizing he is speaking to someone with power. Then he announces they are giving up on their previous goal from this moment on and thus ending their partnership. Luna's expression sharpens as she says they will not be cooperating anymore, and the friendliness drops. A close-up of her lips and jewel shows she is calm, but there is menace behind that calm. Her smile returns in a thin, dangerous way, as if she finds betrayal cute. In a flash, she attacks Wang with a clean slash, moving so fast it looks effortless. Dark shapes sweep across the scene, and Kim watches in horror as the situation flips. His eyes go wide, realizing the real threat is not the underwear guy, but this elegant girl. The boss slams down hard, thrown aside like trash, and the impact rings out. Kim stammers, barely able to call him boss anymore. He shouts the boss's real-world name, exposing that this is not just roleplay to them. The pink-haired girl tells him to get up, then pauses, thinking maybe she should have asked why first. She admits she was annoyed and could not help herself, like hurting them was just impulse. Then she makes her move on Kim, stabbing down with deadly aim, and he screams like his life just ended. Blood splashes across her cheek, but she keeps smiling like nothing happened. Kim is wrecked, crying and choking, completely broken by the sudden violence. Luna stands over the fallen Kim, while Wang lies nearby, both of them crushed in seconds. A close-up shows the blood stain on her face as she calmly enjoys the result. A grayscale echo repeats Ji-yu's declaration that the Halcyon Guild is over, like the end is official. Then we see hair swaying in a new entrance, the air changing like a curtain just opened. Luna changes her form to the goddess with a dark stain on her cheek that matches the mood of this night. Up close, she gives a knowing look, and the name Captain Love echoes from her mouth, wondering who is Jiyu with right now. The number on the screen is stuck just under a huge milestone, like the whole world is holding its breath. In the middle of the chaos, Luna drops in like a curse from above, and Kim below looks like his soul just left his body. Up close, Luna smiles with that calm, mean confidence, like she already knows how this ends. Kim's face is a mess of tears and shock, and you can tell he's barely still awake. Even while dying, he twitches a hand forward, trying to crawl away like that will change anything. His fist hits the ground with a heavy thud, and the fight is basically over. A rush of movement cuts through the air, like someone else just stepped in. Luna appears under soft moonlight, holding her staff like a queen who came to clean up the mess. She hums to herself, looking way too relaxed for a battlefield, with blood still on her cheek. That same near-max number hangs there again, making the moment feel unreal. Then the system drops a cold announcement. An entire guild has been wiped out. Right after that, it promises the reward for the battle, like this is just normal. The final digit flips, and the counter crosses the line, ringing like a victory bell. Jai Yu pops into focus out in the forest, and he looks confused, like he didn't even mean to trigger something huge. A big system message congratulates him and says he hit the maximum level, like it's handing him a trophy. Jai Yu stares at the message, totally lost, wondering what this is even supposed to mean. Urus, his tiny companion, panics and explains there was a system notice about max level, then tells Jai Yu to show his stats. The status screen explodes open, showing Ji Yu at level 999, but still labeled as a beginner, and the points left are ridiculous. The number 999 hits again like a sound effect, hammering home how insane this is. Both Ji Yu and Urus make the same shocked face, like their brains just crashed. The scene breathes for a second under a wide night sky, like the world is trying to process what happened. Daylight replaces the moon, like time jumped forward, and everything suddenly feels like a legend being recorded. We get a big look at the world of Chrono Life, with a distant city and that glowing title like a brand stamp on history. In the real world, the game is shown as a massive hit, top in users, sales, and satisfaction all at once. It's basically sold as the best virtual reality game on the planet, no contest. A broadcast starts, and the hosts build hype, hinting there's a huge twist behind all the success. Faker, definitely not that 6-time world champion, laughs on stage, saying reaching max level should be impossible for anyone. The show explains that people around the world grind non-stop, yet nobody has ever truly made it to the end. Then the title drops. Level 999 is called the Master Level, like a wall nobody should pass. Rip-Off Faker thinks it through and says even the best players would need decades of non-stop effort to reach it. The broadcast stacks that claim right on top of the 999 screen, making it sound like a myth. Back in the forest, Jiyu freaks out hard, because his reality just crushed what the pros believe. Urus cheers like a kid at a fireworks show, telling Jiyu he's the first person on Earth to hit the master level. The little guy keeps praising him, while Jai Yu stands there half naked with a stick, looking like the worst hero pose ever. Jiyu can't accept it, thinking he was only level 7 not long ago, and his memory flashes back to that time. From above, the scene shows Jiyu standing in the forest like it's obvious the math doesn't add up. The story explains the reason. The day he picked up that wooden stick, he slaughtered hundreds of thousands of players and tons of monsters too. It keeps going, saying he also killed Urus, the strongest boss monster, and even wiped out Urus's legion, basically farming the hardest content. On top of that, he wiped out a world guild alliance of millions, like the game's biggest war ended in one-sided murder. And then the final punchline, he even destroyed the planet itself, turning the whole server into his personal crater. Now Jiyu stands like a brand new legend, the first true master-level user, still holding that stupid stick like it's Excalibur. A beam of light crashes down from the sky and Jiyu looks up like he's about to get abducted. The same golden beam keeps pouring down, like the game is force-loading a new stage around him. The light doesn't stop, and it feels like the world is being rewritten in real time. A system message declares that reaching master level means entering a new realm called the Ascended Plane. The whole world flashes, like a camera shutter snapping on a different dimension. For a moment, there's only that starry sky again, quiet and empty, Elsewhere, Love is sprawled on a hill under moonlight, looking bored out of her mind. Her face is dead serious in the funniest way, like she's been waiting so long she forgot why she was even there. A close look shows cursed energy and irritation building, like her patience is running out. She sits up snapping, yelling about missing underwear guy, and the rage is real. A flashback shows Ji-yu telling her he'd be right back, and she's been stuck waiting while the sun goes down. Back to the present, she narrows her eyes, clearly deciding someone is going to pay for wasting her time. Another flashback angle points at the Hallison Guild situation, like that name is the key to the mess. Ji-yu presses her for the full story, demanding she explain who those people were and what happened. Love starts to answer, sounding annoyed like she hates being questioned. She flops back down with a loud fall, still acting like this is all beneath her. Even while lying there, she threatens Ji-yu with a time limit, acting like she's the one in charge. The view pulls out into a cosmic sky, and a tiny floating landmass appears like a secret stage. The ascended plane comes into view up close, a chunk of land hanging in space with broken ruins on top. Ji-yu and Urus now stand in those ruins, surrounded by fallen columns like a dead temple. Ji-yu looks around, asking what this place is, while Urus floats beside him, still shocked. A wide shot shows the ruined field with pillars and firelight, making it feel like an arena made for gods. Ji-yu complains he keeps getting dragged around by weird, powerful beings in this game, and Urus calls him popular like it's a joke. A new voice appears, welcoming him like some ancient judge just opened the court. The presence says it didn't expect a human to arrive so soon, and the air turns heavy. The voice praises Ji-yu's achievement, and the ruins feel smaller under that pressure. The floating island hangs in the void like a throne room with no walls. A glowing blue figure speaks, saying he leads the Ascended, like he's the ruler of this plane. The full form appears, the god of classes, towering with many arms and weapons, making Ji-yu look like an ant. The god calmly compliments Ji-yu's journey, like he's reading a report. He praises Ji-yu for reaching master level while still a beginner, calling it something worthy of respect. Urus is confused about the beginner label, and Ji-yu admits he never advanced his job, even though he wanted to be a swordsman. The system suddenly announces Ji-yu will advance into a hidden class, like a trap door just opened under his feet. Golden light erupts around him again, turning the whole place into a glowing stage. Orbs of light swirl around Ji-yu, and he watches them like he's about to get upgraded by force. One orb slams in, and the soul of a sword enters his body like he just inhaled a weapon spirit. Another impact hits, and Ji-yu is blasted back by the power rushing into him. A message declares the soul of the sword has entered him, confirming this is not optional. More weapon souls appear at once, like a whole armory is diving into him. The system lists more: shield, arrow, wand, all entering his body one after another. It keeps stacking with knuckle and spear too, piling on until he's basically a walking weapon museum. Finally, it says all weapon souls have entered successfully, and Ji-yu's grin looks a little too excited. His bare foot steps forward through the golden glow, like he's accepting the new power. The job advancement completes, revealing his hidden class title, Master Novice. Another system notice says he's been granted special benefits, like the real reward is just starting. It announces all of his stats will be reset, which sounds scary until you remember how many points he has. Then it says he gets back 3 times the ability points he used before, basically printing power for him. The screen updates with a click, and his remaining points jump to an insane number. Urus screams in shock, like his tiny brain can't handle the math. The number is shown clearly, and it's massive enough to scare anyone. Urus points out the crazy part. Ji-yu not only got a hidden class, he also got triple the points. Ji-yu acts chill, while Urus is losing it, basically asking how he can stay calm. Urus explains how leveling usually gives small points, but now Ji-yu gets 3 times more per level, which breaks every rule. He adds that even if someone else reached master level, Ji-yu would still be way stronger on paper. Ji-yu thinks for a second, while Urus screams that this will shake the whole gaming world. A close shot of Ji-yu's eyes shows he's already planning something dumb and dangerous. The stat screen sits there with every stat at base and all those points waiting to be spent. Ji-yu's mouth curls upward like he just thought of the worst possible idea. That grin grows wider, and you can tell he's about to do something everyone will regret. He taps the plus button, starting to dump points without hesitation. The system confirms the chosen stat has been enhanced, like a stamp on his bad decision. He keeps spamming upgrades, and messages stack up while Urus watches in pure disbelief. Urus finally asks what Ji-yu is even doing, like he's watching a friend destroy their own save file. Ji-yu proudly says he's distributing points, smiling like this is the most fun he's had all day. Urus warns that throwing points around carelessly can ruin a character forever, but Ji-yu doesn't slow down. Urus's face goes blank with horror, like he just realized the real plan. He asks if Ji-yu is seriously putting everything into one stat, and Ji-yu confirms it with zero shame. Ji-yu's eyes glow with crazy confidence as he claims he doesn't need any other stat for now. Urus looks dead inside, basically accepting that Ji-yu is locked into being a noob forever. In the real world, a tall office building stands under a night sky. Inside, someone dashes down a hall in a panic, rushing to report something urgent. A worker bursts into the CEO's office with bad news, catching the boss mid-meal. The CEO looks up, calm but sharp, asking what the issue is. The worker sweats and says the boss needs to see this right away, like it's an emergency. The worker says it's about that user, and Choi's eye tightens with interest. A wall of monitors shows game data and live feeds, like they're watching a disaster unfold in real time. Hands clatter on the keyboard, pulling up the important footage fast. The worker tries to explain, while Choi approaches with his bodyguard behind him. Choi stands over the operator, arms crossed, demanding to see the screen. He takes a puff of his cigar and reacts with a quiet, impressed sound, like this is entertaining. On the monitor, Ji-yu is shown in the ascended area, and Choi calls him the wooden stick boy who finally hit max level. The screen shows the exact question being asked in-game, confirming Ji-yu is dumping everything into one stat. Choi asks what stat Ji-yu chose, like he's bracing for something stupid. The worker hesitates, pointing like he can't believe he has to say it out loud. Choi's eye widens as the answer lands, like it's even worse than expected. Instead of panicking, Choi laughs hard, saying this kid is really playing the game his own way. The worker begs him to stop joking, warning that Ji-yu's character could fail for the rest of the game. The worker fears Ji-yu will cause chaos if he realizes his future is ruined, but the CEO stays relaxed. Choi reminds him that developers can't control how users play, even if it's a complete disaster. Still nervous, the worker suggests making a backup plan, while Choi casually walks away like he has one already. The worker calls after him, shocked that the boss is just leaving. At the door, Choi thinks about how insane it is. Ji-yu chose that stat and became a master novice on top of it. He repeats the worker's words in his head, questioning the idea that Ji-yu is bound to fail. Sweating but smiling, the CEO calls this the best and worst character ever made, like history is being written by an idiot genius. Back in the game, Ji-yu's face is lit with excitement, like he's enjoying everyone else's panic. The god of classes speaks again, telling Ji-yu to listen, like the final warning is coming. He says this is the last step of their journey together, setting up one final choice. Ji-yu hears he will be given a single choice, and his expression turns curious. The god explains the choice is to pick one ascended weapon that the god is holding for him. Ji-yu gets hyped like someone offering him free merch, saying he loves freebies. The weapons are shown up close in the god's hands, and Ji-yu wonders which one to take. The god presents the weapons like sacred treasures, clearly expecting a respectful decision. Ji-yu admits they all look cool, still not taking any of this seriously. He crosses his arms and thinks hard like he's doing math, but you can tell it's going somewhere stupid. Then he announces he made his decision, smiling like a kid who found a cheat. He reaches his hand out, not even hesitating. Ji-yu demands all of the weapons, basically trying to rob a god with a straight face. The god's expression shifts, and the calm aura starts to feel colder. He warns that greed only brings misfortune, like a final sermon before punishment. As the god tries to tell him to choose properly, Ji-yu cuts in with a casual hey, like he's talking to a stranger online. Ji-yu threatens the god, saying he'll beat him up if he doesn't hand them over, which is wild coming from a guy holding a stick. The god's face stays calm, but the vibe is deadly, like he just decided to stop being polite. Urus screams in terror, realizing Ji-yu just picked a fight with the wrong being. Back in the office, the worker yells in panic, like they can't believe what they're watching. A wide office shot shows Choi at the door, while everyone else is frozen, like they know something is about to go off the rails. Choi's mouth opens as if he's about to say something important, cigar still in place. He turns with a shocked, angry face, like even he didn't expect things to escalate this fast. Back in the ascended plane, the god stares forward, silent and heavy, like judgment is locked in. A system message announces Ji-yu has angered the god of classes, basically putting a target on his back. Another system notice declares they are now enemies, and the god dives down in attack mode like a final boss just woke up. With a crazed grin, Ji-yu tells the god to come on if he wants to beat him that badly, like he's inviting the pain. The god of classes swings down with terrifying power, and Ji-yu braces himself with that stupid stick.